Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost a tooth.
It's gonna be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
This is some back in. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday. Welcome in. Appreciate you starting your day here with us. Got a full studio here this morning. The Carpool Queen is here.
I love it.
Lloyd is here. Stewie. Found a ride over here.
I'm gonna die.
What is wrong?
I don't know.
I feel
I
like
feel
you've
like
been
shit.
down.
Stewie, you shouldn't
for a
have come
couple
in.
I woke up this morning and I was like,
It's the bus.
feel like
Watch it.
Right.
Come.
Public transportation, bro.
It is the bus.
Just bringing you down.
I woke up at 3 a.m. sweating.
Oh, dude, what are you doing,
Why
man?
are you
That was
here,
fun.
damn it? Why are we just
Stewie.
now hashing
So
this
they
out
can hear.
live?
I love that, Stewie. I threw up in the bathroom just now. Hell yeah.
Did you
did
really?
not.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
Something's wrong with him. I'm okay. Like I didn't throw up in the bathroom this morning. But
Just don't feel
Boy.
good.
Full studio. It's an infirmary in here now. Jeez.
Now the heat comes on, so it's
I
just-
know.
No, I turned the air on this morning.
Okay, thank God.
Shit, I know
Kinda
everybody was
hot.
sick.
Kind of hot lick.
Aw, this is
TJ
weird.
and Jamil are here. We might have to get them to fill
I
in.
know.
Come on.
I feel weird about this.
Welcome in.
I kind of do too.
I feel like
I don't know if we should bail on the show.
Yeah, we're here.
I know it's too freaking late now.
All right, lots to get to. Hopefully nobody gets sick.
Jeez.
Here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, hit the like button, share button. Oh, jeez, Jesus.
This
what happened when LSU
Can we
was
just start over?
Lord.
right.
We're going to talk some LSU basketball with John Brady coming up here.
And then broke
We
me.
need to send a link to Jake Crain. We good? On about 8:05, we'll talk to Crain. Yesterday worked out well with Jake. He was supposed to be here usually like he is on a Monday, but we kind of got our schedules crossed up and couldn't link up yesterday. And Auburn names Hugh Freeze their head coach, and no better insider, no better a guy with information on Auburn out there in the media than Jake Crain. So looking forward to our conversation with him at 8:05 this morning. Lots to get to with Crain outside of Auburn making the hire with Freeze. Tonight's rankings show with the playoff football, with college football playoff committee should have some a little bit of drama to it. I think there'll be a little some eyeballs. Well, I mean, it's not the 1 through 4 scenario. I think everybody's pretty set
on that.
1 through 4.
It's
It's really
5,
going to be
6.
5, 6, and
Yeah.
7. Where's Tennessee fit in? So we'll talk all about that coming up here. Brian Kelly was speaking to the media yesterday. Lloyd cut up 2 hours worth of work. Thought that he lost it.
Deleted it, then might have found it again.
But then had one of the best feelings, I think, out there, right? That relief of,
oh, wait, it's here.
we're good.
Absolutely.
We're
Absolutely.
good.
I guess it's probably.
I thought I lost a term paper for a day.
I was about to say it's more of like
day.
schoolwork. Work is fine. If it's not like, this isn't integral to the show, it's nice to have. But when you have lost like a
Whew.
paper.
Whew,
it's like,
I'm back there now.
Ugh.
I
Ugh.
feel it. And like when I had got to the point of kind of like reservation, like I found, like I was like, I knew what I was going to tell the teacher. I was ready to
had your
flunk
line
out
ready.
once again.
What you come
You
to
know what I
terms with,
mean?
like,
I had
did it
put
again.
forth all this effort. Like I didn't party myself out. I like legitimately flunked out of school on this one. And like when I like got the mindset, like I'm comfortable enough to like make this walk and go have this conversation, it was like ding, like it like
remember
found
that?
it. And I was
Found
like, oh my god,
Never mind.
oh my god. I mean, it was
pass.
just like one of the sense of relief of just like, holy shit, man, we're all good. That's got to be
best.
one of the best feelings in the world,
Absolutely.
man.
man.
Because on the other side of the coin is the worst
Oh,
feeling.
it's the worst.
Like
we
we
had-
need to delete the channel.
Yes, that was a
Yeah.
bad feeling. That was a cold
Like, think about if
sweat.
you'd have found it.
Oh,
Oh my
You know?
god.
I mean,
Like-
we reached out to YouTube.
Right.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're like, I don't know.
Still
how
hadn't
you did
gotten a
that.
call back.
You're like, yeah.
But it's all good,
We're-
YouTube.
we're back.
We're in your world. We're
Thank
living,
you.
man. We're
Yes.
just cruising. Don't pay any attention to us. We love you.
Just stay under the radar.
That's right, man. Just stay under the radar.
But do subscribe.
Probably a feeling that Hugh Freeze felt, right? When he got the call from the Auburn brass
back.
and said, "You're the guy." I mean, there's only 14 of these jobs on the planet. 16 now with Texas and Oklahoma being added to the. And so Hugh Freeze at Auburn. All right, man. We almost got sniped right there. Watch your mouths in here.
Yeah, exactly. People are listening.
That was
Yeah.
weird. That was YouTube doing that to us.
Easy over there.
Did we?
Katie.
Yeah. We
Easy,
just
easy,
said to
easy.
Mine's still not back.
Don't bring up old YT.
keep your name out my mouth.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
All right, so Hugh Freeze to Auburn. We're going to talk about that with Jake Crain coming up here at 8:05 this morning. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by City Cafe, our friends over at City Cafe. Great to have Squeaky and Cody back on board with us over here at the Jordy Culotta Show, as they're the best in town. Go see them off of George O'Neill, where they've been in business. Their restaurant has been in business for over 100 years. Where good friends meet, where good friends eat. City Cafe. Go see them on the corner of O'Neill and George O'Neill. Been in business for a long time. Tell them you heard it right here on the show. Brian Kelly was speaking yesterday to the media. We good over there on this, Stewie?
I'm pulled up still.
All right.
Deleted them.
We will have some sound from yesterday's press conference with Brian Kelly, looking ahead this weekend to Georgia. But real quick, tonight will be the college football playoff selection show, and as we said yesterday, I think 1 through 4 will be pretty easy. I am interested to see what happens here in the top spot. I think if there is a time when Georgia could be unseated from the number one spot, it could be in a scenario like exists this evening, where Michigan is taking care of business at Ohio State in a convincing win, dominated the Buckeyes, as we said, at the Horseshoe. Very impressive. And, you know, look, the committee likes a little drama. And for all intents and purposes, this week for the top four doesn't really mean a lot. Like, I mean, come Sunday, Michigan and Georgia, they could not show up to the, I mean, like, really and truly, they could just like sleep in Saturday and not show up to the Big Ten and SEC championship games respectively, forfeit both of those games, stay healthy, and still be the 1 and 2 seed in the playoff. TCU this weekend, they got their hands full. Like, again, you know, I mean, and they've done it, and they've checked all the boxes and gotten through all of the gauntlet, but here they are again in championship weekend, and they're going to have, you know, you're going to have a hell of a fight on your hand with Kansas State, who's really feeling themselves right now. I mean, they're having a lot of confidence. The offense is really putting up numbers, but TCU is that, look, they've every challenge you put in front of them, they've taken care of it, they've passed it, and if they do it this weekend, they're in. Now, if they fall, they're out. We can talk about that in a little bit. And then USC is in, of course, the Pac-12 championship game out in California versus Utah. And if they take care of business, they're in. Now, if one of those two teams falls, if USC and TCU and or TCU fall, there's going to have some shakeup there where 5, 6, and 7 really to me is kind of where the drama hangs tonight, right? That's why I will be tuning in, or at least looking and scrolling through Twitter after it goes final of what's the ranking of 5, 6, and 7. And it's going to be some version of Ohio State, Alabama, and Tennessee. And the more you think about it, and the more this thing gets closer to Sunday, and the more you kind of understand that there's human beings back there that are in charge of doing this, and a lot of their decision-making is going to be built on what they know and what they're comfortable with, right? And we are all college football fans in this room. We all have that in common. What are we all most comfortable in within the sport, right? What are we conditioned to know in college football? That Bama's always at the top, right? I mean, like they're usually there, and they've got the best coach, and they've got this year, probably the best player, or maybe two of the best players in Will Anderson and definitely in Bryce Young. So as this thing gets closer, I wonder where they're going to put Bama tonight. And I know yesterday I said that they'll likely have Ohio State at 5 with the 1 loss and Bama behind them at 2 losses. And I got a right to change my mind, and I'm changing my mind. I'm putting Bama at 5. The closer this thing gets and the more that you think about it, you're like, man, there's no way they're going to give them an excuse that if one TCU and or USC trip up this weekend, then they're not going to slide Bama in there and, go with what they know and go with what they're comfortable with. And I think this is set up for TCU to really have a lot of pressure on them versus Kansas State to take care of business. And then USC, I think, has a similar margin of error, for error like TCU, where, if you slip up, you're out. Where Georgia and Michigan, like we said, they could seriously, they could not show up to the games on Saturday and still get in to the college football playoff. It would probably serve them better if they didn't play the game, just to keep everybody healthy, give them one more week of rest. But, they got to go play this game for their league title, and no matter the outcome, they're in. And there'll be a combination of 1 and 2. I am anxious to see who they put at 1 tonight. My vote would be on Georgia, but, there's so much of an SEC hangover for the college football fan base, the overall fan base. And inside of that room, there's still, some detractors of the league that would like to shake things up and give Michigan their due. And, that's fine. Georgia would, I believe, beat the brakes off of Michigan.
Yeah.
But aren't they, you said they're not playing for anything. And I think Jay Mitch told us this last night on Mic'd Up. Aren't they playing for not only seeding, but you get to choose where you play your game?
You don't get to choose.
Or they seed it. Okay. Because
that's
what we were talking about last night.
The game is mattered on where you're seated.
Right.
Right. So yes, there is look, and what my biggest fear is for LSU is that Michigan is number 1 tonight, and it gives Kirby Smart just this motivational fuel to pour on these guys all week long and have them foaming at the mouth come Saturday at 3:00. I kind of want Georgia number 1, a little kind of like, let's get healthy, little hangover, looking forward to the playoff, and let LSU come in there, like the caged animals, and unleash them and see what happens, right? Like that to me is the likely scenario, like the scenario that fits LSU's advantage the most. What you don't want to happen is piss Georgia off here in the next couple of days. And if they are not the number 1 team in the country tonight, it gives Kirby Smart that motivational tactic that's kind of like he doesn't have to search for it. He doesn't have to, conjure it up. He doesn't have to make it up inside of the program. You can just say, hey, fellas, you've been number one all season long. For whatever reason, they don't think you're number one now. You need to go prove that on Saturday. Like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Like, fellas, you're the number one team in the country. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Don't take this out.
No matter what happens on Saturday, y'all are still the best team in the land. A lot like last season's team, right? I mean, so that's what you would hope the mindset would be if you're on LSU's side. So I think there is a little bit of drama on who's number one tonight, whether it will be Michigan or it will be Georgia. Again, I think it will be Georgia, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is Michigan.
So how does Alabama get back into this if one of the would-be 4 playoff teams loses?
Well, no, I think Michigan and Georgia, like I said, are in. No matter what
Right.
happens in their championship games. But if there is people inside of that room that are crossing their fingers that TCU loses,
Right.
Because they know nationally nobody cares about TCU, and they're not going to pull any ratings. And if you replace TCU with Bama, and then you've got Bama, USC, Georgia, and Michigan.
Or Ohio State.
Now we're
right?
talking. You know what I mean?
Ohio State's out.
Now we're talking to
I
some
know, but
advertisers.
I've been reading they could get back in too.
They could, but I think that they, look, the likelihood of both Georgia and TCU tripping up this weekend is highly unlikely. Could it happen? College football is a wild sport. It could happen. I would bet against that.
Yeah.
Right? Like happening. The likelihood of one of them tripping up. I mean, up to this point, they've played really good football, and they're two of the hottest teams in the country.
Yeah.
They're playing really good right now,
Yeah.
that's what you want your team to be doing. So, if they go out and win, it's a no conversation. It's really
Right.
kind of
It's
all for nothing. But I mean, if one of them gets beat,
Yeah.
they're going to place Alabama in a spot tonight where if they slip, they're like, well, you know what? They're fifth.
100%, yeah.
So TCU is, you get beat, USC slides up, Bama's fourth. Next thing you know, you got an Alabama-Michigan semifinal.
I can see it happening too.
With Georgia
and USC.
and USC.
I mean, that sounds so
You know
much
what I
better.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're saying right now.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're talking about as we speak.
Yeah.
They're saying, look, we need to build the drama tonight.
I know.
think
You know what I mean? Like, we need to build a drama. And what will be the most dramatic team that everybody is going to talk
Damn it,
about?
dude.
I mean, even
Exactly.
Saban
It can't keep happening.
Even Saban knew it on Saturday. I mean, like his demeanor at the press conference. I'm
yeah,
sure
you should-
somebody slid in
you
his
should
ear
see
and was
the-
like, "What time did they play? They played at 2:30. That Iron Bowl was at 2:30." I wonder by then if somebody had like slid him a score of like LSU's down 2 scores, coach.
Then it's
You know
not
what I
looking
mean?
good.
Yeah, right. Like
Coach, you're back in
LSU,
it.
LSU doesn't look like they're ready to play tonight, coach.
Nobody
They're
cares
out.
about
You know,
TCU.
Yeah, he's like leaning on the podium.
You should
Yeah,
see
he's
the
like
other
got, like,
guy.
one arm. Yeah, you should see the other guy.
But really, wouldn't Alabama be the biggest threat to Georgia
No,
if it were to happen
not
that
to
way?
me.
You don't think so?
I think-
USC?
I think USC poses a problem for
Over
Georgia.
Alabama?
But I don't think Lincoln wants the smoke. That's why.
No.
That's why.
No.
That's why it'd be
No.
like,
I think this is too early for Lincoln.
Right.
You know, like
he's gonna look across and see all them dogs.
Yeah, you're
at
like, oh
Georgia.
my
He's
God.
like, oh,
This is what I ran away
Yeah,
from.
this
This
is-
like,
is why I didn't take the
Caleb
LSU
Williams
job.
can't
this is
save
why
you.
this is Oklahoma of the West.
It really, and that's
It really
part
is.
of. I think that's part of the allure a little bit, though. Is the USC like basically the uniform? Like you haven't seen them be nationally relative in such a long time, but also, if you really want to peek back behind the curtain, it's just Oklahoma in a different jersey.
Yeah.
It's the
Pretty
exact
much.
same team,
Yeah, it really is.
except you added Jordan Addison. I mean, that's great and all, but Lincoln, hey, buddy, we've seen this movie before. Like, prove to me you can find a defense.
That defense does not play well against Georgia. Their defense will not play well against Georgia.
USC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That physical running game will
Yeah,
tear
yeah,
them
yeah.
down.
Yeah. But
then-
I wonder how Caleb Williams and USC's offense stack up against Georgia's defense.
Coach.
Because Caleb Williams is making it look like a video game right now. Like, he's doing things that,
He won himself the Heisman last week.
yeah, but I think it's been like the last couple
Yeah,
of weeks.
but I
we just
think-
haven't been paying attention.
Yeah,
you know
until
what
he
I
had
mean?
to paint his
you just
fingernails.
you just read the stat lines
he's
the
always
last couple of
painting
weeks.
his
But I mean, I watched the UCLA game and then watched last week, and you're like, man, I mean,
13 looks good.
guys, he does whatever he wants. I mean, did you see what Sean Payton said about him? He said this is why the NFL should have a lottery, because that's a generational player. He said you should, if you want to take away tanking, you bring the lottery system into the NFL, because there's coaches that would be at the bottom of the league that would see that guy that would say, "I'm cashing it in." You know, we are not winning a game. You know, like we're going straight major league on it.
And if Sean Payton, I mean, he's the perfect example. I think he said the same thing about Mahomes whenever he tried to trade to get Mahomes.
Coach, he was a pick away from him.
I know, and he says the same thing about Caleb Williams. So wherever a team that Sean Payton decides to go, you better be wary of him with those picks because he will trade that as many as he can to try to get Caleb Williams for next year.
Ian Rappaport had a report yesterday that was trending that Sean Payton was. His name was popping up in a couple of jobs, and his name will be all over the place. But
what job?
Early on, Los Angeles Chargers and Arizona Cardinals.
I could see him trading Kyler Murray or
immediately,
or Herbert even to be able to get that pick.
I wonder if he would keep Herbert.
Yeah, he'd keep Herbert.
I think he would probably keep Herbert.
When he talks, he falls in love. When he talks about players like the way he's talking about Caleb Williams, I could see him down the road making a move to try and do something. That's what he does. Sean Payton goes all in.
Possibly.
But Herbert would be a good token, a good trading piece if that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And just start over like, this is my team now. I'm starting fresh.
Be interesting to see what happens because Caleb Williams right now is taking college football and just kind of doing whatever he wants with it. All right, we good on these sound bites? Brian Kelly yesterday speaking. I don't have a call sheet here
read out which one. We have a couple of them. There's like 1, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18, I believe. Is that right, Stewie?
No, yeah, there's a lot.
Just give me the first one.
Give me the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
Opening statement.
Yeah, just the opening statement.
He's sad.
Kelly?
Yeah. He's just a little down.
I mean, he's going to Atlanta in year one. What's everybody's problem?
I know.
Game.
He actually pretty chummy.
You know, obviously,
Sharp suit.
Ooh, I like that.
It's exciting to be able to play for conference championship. You know, we've certainly feel like we've earned the opportunity to be here by the play on the field, and we're excited about the opportunity to represent SEC West and playing the #1 team in the country. Georgia's again proven themselves to be the best team, and we're excited about that challenge. We know it's going to be a tough challenge, but we're certainly up for this chance to win the SEC. That's what you play it for, and I know our guys are excited about it. Again, it's an outstanding football team. You know, there's so many superlatives, you know, whether you go on offense and talk about Stetson Bennett, or you go defensively and you talk about, you know, some of the biggest defensive linemen and most active linebackers with Johnson and certainly inside with Carter and Beal. This is just a well-coached, consistent football team. But our guys have, you know, had the opportunity to play the best, and this is another opportunity for us to be challenged, and so we're excited about the opportunity. So.
Brian Kelly with the sharp vertical stripes on the plaid.
I
love
like
it.
I think
love it.
Isn't that a fashion faux pas?
No, it's not.
You shouldn't clash, right?
I was
It's not
wondering.
flashy.
I was wondering
It's
if
modern,
what
trendy.
the rule was on that, but whatever the
rules
rule
anymore.
is, I agree, Katie.
There aren't any
I
fashion
agree.
rules anymore. I want to
Because
see the
if
whole
there
thing, though.
if
Need
there
the
is,
pants.
Me too.
and that was against the rules, I say break the rules.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love it. I need to see the pants and shoes.
Let's keep going, Stewie. Bring me more.
Can you zoom
just
out,
pick one.
Stewie?
This is 10 facing Darnell Washington.
Okay. Big tight end.
Hope they don't throw it to him. Is that what you mean? Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes, you know, we break this game down to, you know, one player against one. You're hoping that in some situations that your zone coverage, where you have somebody underneath them over the top, because really, I mean, if you look at it, if it's just a one-on-one situation, he's a pretty, you know, unique athlete, and that he can line up and has lined up at wide receiver. That's not a great matchup for anybody. So, you know, you've got to take some of those things away. You've got to be able to help with underneath coverage, over the top. Sometimes there's bracket situations where, you know, you've got a corner with an inside backer and a safety, and that triangle kind of takes away throwing lanes, because if it's just as simple as one guy versus one guy, that's not a favorable situation. But you may get that sometimes, and you're hoping the pass rush gets there. You're hoping that Stetson can't find him, things of that nature, because it is a matchup issue.
Dana Kraft inside the chat says she loves a nice plaid and that mixed textures are in.
They are in.
Football God said he does not like the shirt. Nobody asked you, Football God.
Rico.
Shot.
Is that who that is?
Totally.
What? No, I don't think
Totally.
so.
Absolutely, it is. But
All right, more from Brian Kelly here. And look, those tight ends are going to be a nightmare. I mean, both of them, Bowers and Washington. Washington specifically inside the red zone. I mean, he is he's an NBA power forward playing tight end in the SEC. I mean, he is a enormous dude. What do you do? I don't know what you match up with him.
No man to man, for sure.
I can't think of anybody that can run with him or Bowers.
Not really.
I mean, they can run with
It's
him,
not
but I'm talking
running
about
with
the
him.
matchup,
But-
like the physical matchup. You just throw a jump ball.
I feel like they don't use him like that, though. I feel like he has it, he's massive, obviously, but I'm more scared of Bowers than I am of
Sure.
Darnell Washington.
Bowers is the best player in the field, right?
Yeah, they use Darnell Washington more like a seam player, and they split Bowers out, run jet sweeps to him. Like he's just
Him and McClaskey.
Yeah.
McConkey.
McConkey.
Give me a break.
They got two of those.
And how are they beating people when
How
you
does
look?
that guy do anything, man?
Coach, he looks like he's like.
I mean, that
the
gives
last
me
pick in
hope.
PE.
You know what I mean?
Like the last
that
pick.
gives
the last pick in
every
PE is Lad
every
McConkey.
average white guy
And he's just
walking every high school campus. I mean, if I was a coach, I'd be like, "Yo, 5'8", 160. Look at McConkey, bro. Push a sled, run a hill, see what happens."
I mean, he's going to the Patriots.
I mean, the guy returns punts for Georgia. Give me a break.
Number one class.
Like, are you kidding me? There's not another guy in the locker room that can return a punt over this guy.
Lad.
I mean, throw him a slant. I'm with it. Okay, maybe, but I mean, they count on this guy.
He's their playmaker. He's like their guy.
So weird.
We need to play. Throw us a
It's
Lad.
weird.
dude.
6'1", 185, and that's the program numbers. So
Plum
he's about
Tiger won.
5'10", 170.
Plum Tiger says put Quincy Wiggins on Washington. That would be a great matchup. I mean, just to see those two go. I mean, that would be like a Karl Malone, Charles Barkley type matchup, man.
I mean,
They're
they're
big bodies just hitting each other. Every play.
They're relying on McConkey, and you forget that. If Arik Gilbert ever
McConkey.
got it figured out, they would have Darnell Washington, Arik Gilbert, Bowers, and then McConkey on the outside.
Gosh, dude.
How many tight ends can you get? That's a
Well, I
Brian
think that's
Kelly
why
wet dream.
when Gilbert got there, they were like, "You want to play wideout?"
Yeah, you can play wherever.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, man.
Yeah, we got McConkey who's going to beat you out, though.
McConkey. I mean, what do you think Arik Gilbert did to McConkey the first time you see him? Like, hey, towel guy,
Yes.
restock my locker if you don't mind.
Equipment guy needs some cleats, bro.
Yeah, right. Y'all got the Vapors in size 12? All right, more from Brian Kelly.
Yeah. You never really touch tradition, but you don't worship it. Right?
Oh, I love that
you
answer.
Bring tradition along with you, and that is you make sure you're welcoming former letter winners, former players, those that have been part of building the pride and tradition of LSU. I think that's absolutely crucial. To have guys back that have helped win championships here. And I think we've done a really good job of doing that. So without worshiping it and falling into that kind of, hey, we have to do it this way because it's always been here. But paying attention to those that help build the program, I think that's one way that I think we've done a really good job. And I think the other way is much more, day to day in terms of, we have a thing called SWAT teams where, I think that's standard and setting a standard so our guys knew what the expectations were, and on a day to day, they come into our building and we're not throwing them curveballs. They know exactly what they're getting. It's a consistency every single day, and I think that creates an atmosphere within the building that they can trust. And so I think that those two things in particular, really welcoming our former letter winners back, those that have been instrumental in building this program, without getting caught up with, hey, we did it this way, we got to continue to do it this way. And then internally setting up our SWAT teams.
Love that answer, man. I mean, Brian Kelly yesterday talking at his weekly press conference. And look, we've made the comparison a couple of times, I know on this show, but the more and more that you see the implementation of Kelly's methods and his policies of LSU football, the more relatable it really is that if you were around in 2000 and remember Nick Saban kind of reconstructing LSU and making it a national brand when he was hired back in, following Jerry DiNardo. And a lot of people that were close to the organization said the first thing that Saban did was, I think what they call in the industry like a sacred cow, somebody that's been there forever and has done things this way and will be resistant to change because this is always the way that they've done things, and they'll be closed-minded to hearing anything else for that. Those people were dead. You know what I mean? Like they were turned over immediately. And it was new life, new idea, new creativity, new paths were being, kind of pushed ahead. And I think that's what Kelly is kind of talking about with what he took over. LSU football truly did need a 20-year reset where Saban had implemented and built in the policy to the program so deep and made it so rich in the 4 years that he spent here that you were able to even put a guy like Les Miles in place. And how much run did Miles get from Saban's program, right? Like, I'm not here to say that Saban won the 2007 national. I know that the players went on the field. They made that happen, and some guys that were there that weren't recruited by Saban, but it was still guys that were in that locker room like Jacob Hester and Early Doucette and Matt Flynn and Glenn Dorsey that were there in the early days of their career that remember what it looked like when guys like Kyle Williams and Claude Roten and guys that were there before them, Michael Clayton and guys that were developing that standard of LSU football. It was so rich that it was able to kind of carry itself for a couple of years, right? And then Miles kind of held up the recruiting, but was not able to keep up with the development of the player and the execution on the field. And then, once Orgeron grabbed it and caught lightning in a bottle in 2019, when he gave the keys back to the administration, that had been, it was in the ground after 20 years of experiencing the highest of highs, and it was now in the garage back at football ops in the lowest of lows.
Bringing your car back today. You got to change the tires, though.
It was stripped. It was like Ferris Bueller when they drop off the Ferrari. It's like,
Dad loves that car more than me.
Oh my God, what are we gonna do? It's like, we're gonna have to buy a new one.
Cameron, it's going to be okay. The miles aren't going back.
Poor
it's not
Cameron.
going. We can crack the odometer.
But it just, it's. I think Kelly came in and saw, look, they got some good stuff here. A lot like Saban looked around and said, hey, look, you're not that far off. If you guys buy in and you commit, we might win the SEC in a year. And if you recall, Saban had them in this game 20 years ago. Or 21 years ago, 21 years ago. Which is crazy because still to this day, I'm telling you, it is it's an all-timer for anybody that was there, anybody that was an LSU fan during that time. When you left the Georgia Dome that night, we were in the Georgia Dome. It was a sense of like LSU had arrived. Like it was different. When you pulled in there, LSU was kind of playing as a fluke team. Tennessee was playing to go to the Rose Bowl. I'll never forget they were handing out the roses before the game to Tennessee fans to kind of get ready for the post game. If they won, they were all going to, bite the rose, take the picture. the iconic shots of the teams that are going to the Rose Bowl.
I mean, they were going to
They're
the
going to the
national championship.
They were going to the national championship.
And guess where they ended up?
And earlier that season, they had beat LSU in a very similar way to the way that game started in the Georgia Dome, where Kelly Washington was the wide receiver, and him and Casey Clausen were just they couldn't be stopped. It was like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I mean, it was like they were just dropping back, throwing the ball up in the air, and it was one of the most maddening nights. Demetrius Hookfin was the cornerback that was playing for LSU.
What year was it?
2001.
Okay.
Dante Stallworth.
The first Saturday after September 11th. So September 11th, the week of September 11th was a Tuesday, September 11th. Those games were canceled that week, right? The next following Saturday, so the first games after 9/11, LSU was in Knoxville playing Tennessee. And that was like Rohan, Josh Reed. Michael Clayton caught his first touchdown.
Really?
As a Tiger that night. And
were you at that game?
I was at that game.
Oh,
I was
wow.
on the sideline that night with a friend of mine who just came across sideline passes before it. His dad was a big booster. We were going to the game. His dad handed him 2 sideline passes. Next thing you know, we're standing on the 50 at Neyland, and John Henderson, the defensive tackle for Tennessee, is walking by us, bro, and he looks like a mountain. Yes. He's like blocking the sun when he walked in front of you.
I'm watching Roe run.
Hey, Roe makes a play that night where he's scrambling, he's keeping the ball high, and he hits Josh, but he got hurt that night. And that really kind of was the game. That's what changed that game, because Tennessee was not ready for Matt Malk, right? And I kind of look at LSU this weekend. You know, I mean, there's a lot of similarities to that weekend. You know, going into that game, LSU was a heavy underdog. There was a lot on the line for the opponent. You know, for Tennessee, there was a trip to the Natty in 2001. Obviously, Georgia can take care of business and be the number 1 team in the country going into the playoff selection show the following day. And LSU is a talented, you know, that 2001 team. I think when you look back on it, you know, their defense was a little saltier even than maybe this unit, but I don't know. There's a lot of similarity on it in my opinion, of just the feeling of where they are. Does that mean I expect them to go in there and upset Georgia? It doesn't. But if you were there, and I had the pleasure, man, it was one of those trips that I will remember for the rest of my life. In fact, the guy that we went with a big group of us. I mean, I was 20 years old.
I was about to say,
you know what
take
I mean?
me back to where Jordy Culotta was for the 2001 SEC championship.
Good Lord, man. I mean, good God. But, I mean, I was in college, and we took off, and Ben Harger, is a great friend of mine still to this day, he and we went with like a big group of us, and like they were like you know, kind of like couples within the group, and there were people that were going to meet people in Atlanta there, and Ben and I were kind of like the last 2 standing, and we just took on the town of Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For 48 hours,
It's
we
me,
gave
you versus
Atlanta
everybody.
everything we had. And I mean, like,
Pulling no punches.
when I tell you we went from Fulton County to Buckhead to, I mean, we might have ended up in Duluth. We were all over the state of Georgia, bro. Like taxi cabs and just pockets full of party.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And then pockets empty.
Yeah, right. And
Up tab.
his dad was, again, loved LSU football and had great tickets. And we ended up, I think I caught Dominic Davis's chin strap. He threw his chin strap into the stand, snagged it from some kid.
Do you still have it?
And I don't know. I think I actually gave it to the kid.
To the kid you stole
I
it
was
from?
like, you're going to enjoy this much more than I am.
In case this was on TV, I look like a jackass.
Exactly.
Give me that.
But it was, again, like going in, you never thought LSU was going to win. And then, like in the first half, you looked up and it was kind of like punch for punch. And you're thinking,
shit, we're in it.
I mean, if you keep hanging around, I mean, Josh Reed, Dominic Day, one of these cats is going to make a play, right?
It's like last week. It's like
And
A&M.
the play of the game was in the third quarter. Tennessee fumbled, and when they fumbled, they gave it back. And Malk, they couldn't stop quarterback draw.
Like how many times did the LSU run it?
They could not stop. They were so prepared for Rowe to just sit back there and pick them apart.
Stevie's still watching it over there.
Dude, it's awesome. It is a
I just saw the play
magical.
rolled out with the ball.
What about that
all
throw,
the way
Coach?
up here.
I mean, that's where NFL scouts are like, oh.
Davey looks good at LSU.
Right.
There's not a lot of people that can do that.
Well, that's why he gets so frustrated when he watches Jaden Daniels. He's like, just step up and throw that thing. And it's like, bro, not everybody can do it like you did
Right.
it. Like you
You
made
can't
it
just
look
flick
so
it.
easy. Yeah, it's like if he's got a different skill set, Rohan, than you had.
But it was one of those nights, man. I think that if you were, if you're old enough to remember it and recall it, it feels very similar to the way that LSU's kind of taken on this weekend.
Jerseys are terrible.
They are.
Old
Shoulder,
mesh.
it's really the shoulder pads that make
Yeah,
them
it
bad.
is.
Well, it looks
It's got
like-
the puffy shoulder
Yeah.
pads.
It looks
I mean, they
like
had to
they
cut
cut
the sleeves off
yeah, I was
because they
gonna
would
say,
hang
they
down.
Cut the jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it was.
time for John Brady, right?
Yep. Was it Nike jerseys?
Yeah,
I don't know if it was Nike tops.
I think so. LSU's always been.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Look, the row right behind you. All right, we'll be back with John Brady here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Is it freezing?
What?
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hey, our SEC championship coverage, we are proud to announce, is going to be brought to you by our friend Lance Beal. Remember, Lance Beal, your lawyer over in Lafayette, and you can hit him up. It's easy to find him at BealAbear.com. All of our SEC championship coverage is brought to you by Beal and Abear, Louisiana's hometown lawyers. Lance has assembled a team prepared to handle any need that you may have, whether it's personal injury, family law, estate planning, business law, or construction. Beal and Abear have you covered. If you're in the need of legal assistance, reach out to them at BealAbear.com and tell them the Jordy Culotta Show sent you. That's BealAbear.com. All of our SEC championship coverage brought to you by our friends over at Lance Beal and Kenny Abear. All right, it has been too long since we have caught up with our friend from the LSU Sports Radio Network, an LSU legend, former LSU basketball coach, and now you can hear him every time LSU is playing on the radio call. It was fun listening to him while LSU was down in the Cayman Islands, and their Sunday game versus Wofford was a nail-biter, but the Tigers were able to outscore Wofford and get away with a home win. And here to tell us a little bit about the early season basketball team here, Matt McMahon's first, is our favorite. Coach John Brady is back with us. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jordy. Doing well.
Yes, sir. Good to talk to you.
Good to see you.
Early impressions. So just an overview from you. I know that LSU has flown a little bit under the radar to the local crowd here. Obviously, everybody paying attention to football and what's going on. But from a basketball stance, you have seen this team play. What has been your early impressions of McMahon's first squad?
Well, I think the thing that sticks out to me is how hard they're trying to defend. I think defensively, that's what's carried them. You know, the things that I think probably they need to improve on and get better at possibly is our turnovers from time to time have hurt us. Against K-State the second half, I think we had 14 turnovers. We haven't really killed people on the board on the glass. In fact, Sunday, Wofford out-rebounded LSU by 4, and I think our rebounding probably needs to get a little bit better. And then Adam Miller and KJ Williams have been really good in terms of scoring the ball, and I think from these other guys that come in the game, maybe a consistent third scorer has got to emerge from maybe Jalen Reed or Fountain or Hannibal or Mawani needs to probably score more. Hayes, one of those guys are going to have to be a more consistent scorer in that third position. But defensively, we've been good. I like the effort they're playing with. The execution of offense is good. And two things that LSU has really done well that have surprised me a little bit is our field goal percentage has been really good in terms of shooting as a team. We shot 48%, a little over 48% Sunday, and our three-point field goal percentage has been quite good this year. And the other day we were 8 for 19 from the three for 42%. So we're shooting the ball well. But the other three things we need to get better at, defending, rebounding, turnovers, and then certainly trying to find a consistent third scorer within that lineup.
Adam Miller, of course, everybody was looking forward to watching him play this season, coming off of last season's devastating injury. Would have loved to have seen him playing on that team. But now, as the primary scorer on this squad, what have been your early season impressions coming off of his knee?
Adam Miller, everybody talked about him being a scorer and shooting the ball, and he has done that extremely well. He's lived up to that. And he is LSU's most consistent scorer from the perimeter. And I think somebody's got to help him eventually down the road, because once we get into high-level competition and the athletes and the length of some of the guys that are going to guard him in the SEC, somebody's got to take up a consistent scoring slack to help him. But the thing about Adam Miller that I've noticed, he takes pride in defending as well. I think he's highly competitive. And what I liked the other day, and I told Coach McMahon on the air after the game, Adam he missed 2 free throws. He's shooting like 90% from the free throw line. He missed back-to-back free throws in a technical foul situation. But then after a break, we came back and Coach McMahon went right to him and ran a play for him in the right corner in front of the LSU bench, and he nailed a 3. So, I had mentioned, I said, I'd like to see Coach McMahon go right back to him, because I saw Adam hitting. He was beating himself on the leg when he missed the 2 free throws. He was upset with himself. And then for Coach to go back to him and then hit a big 3, I think that creates a good, belief and trust in one another. And I think that's going to pay dividends down the road for Adam's mentality and certainly his relationship with the coach.
KJ Williams was a big name that transferred over in the offseason. He was one of the guys that followed Coach over from Murray State. He's a big man that's been playing big as of late for LSU. What's been your impressions, and how have you made his transition from level to the level of play where he was to this caliber that he's seeing now?
Well, I think the last 3 or 4 games he's really gotten better and gotten more comfortable. He's got a way about him around the goal. He's not the tallest guy out there, and the way he scores it, he shoots these little half hook, right-handed hooks around the basket, anywhere from 3 to 5 feet, which is tough to do. But he's been really successful as making some post moves, and I think it's necessary that he does give LSU a post presence. They can't just rely on the perimeter and driving the ball to the goal, although they do that at times pretty well. I think KJ gives them a post presence, which they're going to need. I wish he would rebound the ball a little bit better on the defensive end, and I think he's trying to do that. But certainly from a scoring standpoint and an effort standpoint, he's really, really good. He complements Miller with some inside presence. In the tournament, the first game, he had like 33 points against Illinois State, and he was able to turn and score some baskets around the goal. But certainly, as we move into SEC play, it's going to be imperative that he consistently can score down there from time to time to give LSU a post presence.
Those early season tournaments are, they can go either way for teams. You had teams that saw significant strides from going to early season tournaments, and then you went to early season tournaments and lost your best player in Tasman Mitchell. You had certain experiences there. What was your biggest takeaway from LSU going to the Cayman Islands and going to the championship game of that tournament and falling just a bit short to Kansas State?
Yeah, I thought it was a positive experience. I thought it's something they can build on and gain from. The K-State team is more like an SEC team. Illinois State is a good team. Akron's a well-coached team, but they don't have the size or the length. K-State's more like an SEC team, and it took the feel of a physical SEC contest. So, the bizarre ending was strange, but it was the right thing. It was the right call by the officials in what the rules allow them to do and rule on. So it's just unfortunate that the clock operator didn't start the clock for a full second. But LSU competed in that game, and had it not been for LSU getting a little casual with the ball the second half, I think it would have been a different outcome. But you got to compliment K-State. LSU had led the whole game, and then there was a spurt of about 5 or 6 minutes where LSU turned it over. They were able to get 3 or 4 baskets in transition, which they hadn't done all night long, which changed the momentum of that game. But there were a lot of positive LSU can draw from even that loss and the way they competed. And we'll see how it just carries over. We had a little lull against Wofford, but Wofford was well coached. And took the shot clock down to about 10 seconds every trip down, which made possessions really important in that particular game. But LSU defended it, took them off the three-point line when they needed to at the end to be able to overcome a 4 or 5 point deficit in the last 7 minutes of the game to win it at home.
John Brady joining us here, Jordy Culotta Show, as you can find him on the call each week with LSU basketball. Coach, what have been your impressions of Matt McMahon? Just early season here, first year at LSU, and kind of his personality on the team.
Well, he's a real level-headed guy. He's not real emotional about things. He takes things in stride. I think he realizes that this is a transitional year for the LSU program. 10 new players, 3 players back. Only 2 of them played last year. Your best player, Adam Miller, didn't play at all. He hadn't played in a year and a half. So I think he knows it's a transition period. I think what he's trying to do is just get his team to adapt the way he wants them to play. He's been really good out of timeouts and inbounds under. I think we've scored some baskets, off of those particular situations, which I think goes back to coaching and teaching. But I think his approach is this year, let's do the best we can, implement what I want to get into this team, build a overused word, I think, culture into the team, and kind of just see what happens, and then go get some more players through the portal and recruiting and that sort of thing to get the type of players, that he wants. So I think it's a wait-and-see attitude. His approach is not up and down. I think he's approaching this in a calm, and I think in a great way too, in terms of just watching the team play. And I do believe as the season moves along, this team's going to get better. I think we're good defensively, and I think offensively we'll get better as it moves along.
Coach, when you talk about this group and you talk about the season from a coaching aspect, don't you guys kind of look at it like non-conference, conference schedule, postseason? If so, how do you look at the schedule, and then what's usually the goals here before you get into conference, especially with a first-year team?
Well, I think when they prepare the schedule this year, they were looking at it to build the team in a way where it can experience success along the way and also win some games. Certainly some of these teams we've played early aren't the caliber of teams that they're going to face in the Southeastern Conference, but I think what it has done is let them teach and grow, and the team feel good about what they're accomplishing against these type of teams by winning some games. I think that was important for this particular team, and I think as Coach McMahon moves down the road, I feel the coaching staff will make a more challenging schedule. And that's just the way it's supposed to be. But I think the schedule for this particular team is a good one, and I think it's going to help LSU get better when it hits Southeastern Conference play. But I think the schedule is made, Jordy, based on what you think as a coach your team's going to be about. If you think you've got a pretty good team, you build a challenging schedule, a more challenging schedule. If you're in a situation where you need to get some experience and grow the team along with having some success, which I think is important for a new coach and a new team, I think this is the way to go this year. So that's how I always view building a schedule, and I think that's what they've done this year with this particular team.
When you look at, have you had a chance to look around at the conference and just kind of see the early signs of life and get a feel for it?
Yeah, I think the conference has been all over the board. I think they've had some puzzling losses, and I think they've had some really good wins as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. I saw where Arkansas last night had to go on a 19-3 run to beat Troy State at home, and that's a little surprising for me. And then Alabama, they beat North Carolina, who's lost back-to-back games, but that was a quadruple overtime game. And Alabama's really good. They're athletic. Arkansas's got an athletic team. Kentucky is always going to be a challenge. Auburn will be good. Tennessee, I think, maybe combined with talent and coaching, maybe one of the best teams in the league when it's all said and done. But then you've got Florida lost a 30-point game. South Carolina's been losing. Vanderbilt has struggled. A&M has struggled. So I think there's some opportunities for LSU once we get past these first 6 or 7 games in the league. I mean, I don't know if any team in the conference is opening up with 6 or 7 teams at the top of the league like we are. So if the team can get by and survive the first 6 or 7 SEC games, I think toward the end, the last 6 or 7 give us an opportunity to win some.
Coach John Brady, make sure and tune in on the broadcast to catch him and Chris Blair calling the action. They're the best in the business as LSU will be back in action coming up here versus UT Arlington on Friday night. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off. Coach, before I get you out of here, take me back to the fall of 2001. You had one of your best teams. You had just won the league. Saban was here, and he was about to win the league for the first time 21 years ago. Do you feel any similarity of what is happening right now on campus with Brian Kelly and the LSU football program?
Well, it's amazing what they've done to this point. And the people that they have beaten, and I think the LSU football team probably, it's hard to sustain what they've been doing with a limited number of players, and I think the emotion that they have created over the last 4 or 5 weeks, and then to play like they did at A&M. I think A&M's talented and they happened to put it together, but I also think maybe emotionally LSU was a little drained because of what they've gone through the previous 4 or 5 weeks and the level of play that they created. So I'm not saying it was supposed to happen, but it didn't surprise me that emotionally LSU just didn't look like they were all there. And I think Coach Kelly alluded to that in some of his post-game comments. I mean, so I think it's on the right track. It's incredible what they've done. I mean, forget the score against A&M in that game to them be playing in the SEC championship game. If you'd have told some fans that before the season, they'd have taken it even with an A&M loss. So
yeah, for sure.
A lot of positives going on with the football program. And, when the football team is winning, I've always had the belief that it helps all sports. It helps you recruiting. It helps bringing recruits in for football weekends. They feel that positive vibe that's going through campus. So anytime the football team is successful, I think it sprinkles over and helps everybody else.
Great to hear from you, man. Great to talk to you. See you soon.
Okay, brother. All right.
There he is. Coach John Brady checking in this morning here on a Tuesday. Make sure and check out our friends over at Dead Soxy. Katie, tell them about Dead Soxy.
Actually, until midnight tonight. I'm glad you brought that up. You can
problem.
use the code Jordy and get buy one, get one free on all bundles. So get in there, get your athletic bundles like we keep telling you about. Buy one, get one free until midnight tonight. Use the code Jordy. You can also get Christmas gifts there, purple and gold socks to wear the championship game.
Nice. Until
midnight tonight. Deadsoxy, SOXY.com.
And Katie, we've got a good promotion coming from our friend Tom Granning.
We do have a good promotion from Tom Granning. It's Wardo's Rudolph Roll. It's a 10K, a 5K, and a kids fun run. Stewie's going to stick it up there on the screen because I can't post the link in YouTube, but it is Wardo's Rudolph Roll.itsyourrace.com, and Rudolph is spelled, you can see how it's spelled, ROUXDOLPH, and that is December 10th, Saturday at 8 a.m. You can register online, and you pick up your packets at Tom's new po' boy shop.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In Natchez, yeah. Wardo's Po' Boys. This benefits the Ward Granny Memorial Scholarship Fund. It's Saturday, December 10th. Again, 8 a.m. You start at Wardo's Po' Boys. It's on Broadway Street in Natchez. The fees are on the website. And if you can't make it to the run, you can still donate on the site. You can click the little donate button there. Stewie, do you have that?
Shout out to our friend Tom Granning.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You were just reading.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
In the chat, though,
Oh, good. Can you? Because I can't do it on my end. Perfect. So sign up, help Tom out, donate, or participate. December 10th, Saturday, 8 a.m.
Make sure to hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. Remember, if you are new here and you are not subscribed, if you don't mind, hit that subscription button for us. We saw a stat over the weekend that's keeping me up at night. 60% of people that come and view our content are non-subscribers. We got to get those people subscribed up. So if you're watching this for the first time and you're a non-subscriber, make sure and hit that subscription button for us. And it's real easy to do. If you just kind of hang your cursor over the content, you'll see a subscribe button pop up, and you can click it right there. And if you want the content instantly, just click the bell right next to subscribe. And as soon as we go live, we will. You'll know. And we've got a very exciting announcement coming that I believe will make Thursday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll put out a press release for it, but we've got a new podcast coming that we will launch next week. We've actually got a couple of podcasts that we were going to launch next week, both that we are very excited for. and looking forward to telling you all about it. We just got a couple of loose ends to tie up behind the scenes and get it all tightened up, and we will make our announcement here pretty shortly. But some exciting stuff coming for basketball season for us over here. We'll have a nice coverage of basketball season, and not just here locally, but we'll talk more about what's happening around college basketball, specifically around the conference, but, Big 12 basketball and things that's happening, around the game, and NBA action. We'll get more, a little bit more in depth on some of the stuff. And that's not specifically here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So you won't be, cornered with that content here for you that come here and want to hear about, LSU football and the recruiting stuff and what's going on around some of our more popular sports that we care about. But if you are looking for exclusive basketball and NBA coverage, we're really excited about the show that we're going to launch on Monday.
Is it just audio, or is there a video component?
No, it'll be a video. It'll
Really?
have its own YouTube page. It will have its own social media. It will live by itself. And we're fired up about it, man. We really
Very
are.
exciting.
It'll be cool.
Show on the
and don't forget about our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, number 1 and the number 2 business. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. No website for our crew there. No social media. They're old school. 225-776-2431. They can be. They've got great work. Once you work with them one time, you'll see the quality. You'll see the service. You'll see the on time, the friendly staff, the professionals that come in and get the work done for you over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Mention the show, save yourself 15%. 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. All right, a lot of college football talk coming at you after this next break. We're going to talk to Jake Crain about the latest in the SEC, get his thoughts on the playoff selection show tonight, but we'll dive into Hugh Freeze to Auburn. Really looking forward to getting Crain's thoughts on where Hugh Freeze fits in as far as the SEC coaching pecking order. He mentioned yesterday that he's going to keep Cadillac. How important was that for Hugh to make that move? And then we'll talk to Kyle Caskey. He'll be here at 8:30 this morning. Shortcut of Caskey's Clicker coming up at 8:30, and the extended cut coming up at 9 a.m. this morning, breaking down LSU, breaking down Georgia, looking back at LSU and A&M. Lots to get into with our coach coming up here at 8:30 this morning. So a pretty jam-packed last 45 minutes. Come back with us, Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculottashow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're sitting in the dugout.
So funny you say that.
And Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he had he's in full uni, he's turfs, and he's standing up on the fence, whatever, just like this, watching the game, and we start talking about, pissing your pants, something whatever. And he was like, "I'll piss my pants right now." We're wearing,
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, "I'll piss my pants right now." No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up however many people were in there. I think it ended up being $2,000 total.
I pissed my pants for $2,000.
And
100%.
So he goes in there, and he's watching the game, and he just starts pissing in his pants. Gray pants.
Yeah.
So you see it going down his pants. It's long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, on the dugout. And he just puts them back on, and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
I remember telling them, "Hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right?" And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. All he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge. Making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere. Middle linebacker, outside rusher. Maybe sometimes he's going to be in a drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m. wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kublik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday.
Live here? Was that a hint?
Forgot it. Facebook is a wild place.
Stop talking about everybody. We're live.
Yeah, right. Hush up.
Hush.
Yeah, cap switch. WAFB just dropped off some new colors. This one doesn't really hit good on the light.
It looks good in person, though.
It does look really good in person.
I like the little UCLA. Your sissy blue.
Well, they had the LSU. They had the LSU color, and they had the Southern.
I know. I was
Southern.
going for the Ed Orgeron UCLA.
I'll fight you right now.
Yeah, sissy blue hat. Oh my God.
He's been hanging around Notre Dame, huh? We got him. All right, let's go to our friend Jake Crain from Crain and Company. Missed him yesterday, and this kind of worked out because the news wasn't official during our regularly slotted time each Monday, and then it slowly became official after that. And now we can get him to get his true reaction, and nobody knows the Auburn program. Look, I respect his opinion above all else. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to college football, and specifically Auburn. Is Jake Crain. He's here with us every week. Jake, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Hey, my friends. It's good to join you on a Tuesday. And, yeah, man, that timing did work out. I know you're going to ask me about it, but I think Auburn made the right decision yesterday.
Good. Tell me why.
Well, you know, again, there's so many factors that go into when you're getting a coach. You guys know this. It's who's out there. You know, what is the crop of coaches that are out there? Sometimes, you know, like in the NFL draft, sometimes some positions are deeper than others. Sometimes it's head coach. Sometimes it's OC. Sometimes it's DC. I think there was a decent group out there. When you look at Hugh Freeze as compared to Lane Kiffin, I mean, Hugh Freeze has actually beaten Nick Saban. He's beaten Kirby Smart. He's won big games. Now, is his overall record fantastic? No. But again, he took Ole Miss to heights that they hadn't been in a while. And now you're at a place with more resources that has proven that, you know, you can win at the highest level. He understands the lay of the land. He understands who he's coaching against. He knows the areas in recruiting you can go and have success, and he knows the areas that you can't. And, you know, I said in the open of the show today, I think him screwing up, while it was one of the hardest lessons you have to learn, sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes you know, to me, that's the guy that's probably not going to screw up again, as opposed to a guy who's never had anything taken away from him. I mean, Hugh Freeze basically there was a big chance that his career was over from a big-time Power 5 job perspective. Now you get a second chance. I believe he's smart enough and has grown enough to really understand how important that is and how quickly you can lose it. And I think he's hungry, guys. Yeah. I think that makes him hungry. And a hungry coach is dangerous. So I think Auburn, in the grand scheme of things, ended up making the right decision.
How important was it for him to keep Cadillac?
Very important. Like I've been saying, I think it'd be coaching malpractice not to do it. I think he needs to keep Zach Etheridge, too. You look at a recruiting standpoint, you need a person. We called it the FU coach. You need a person that can say, hey, coach, this may not be a great idea. Yeah. Or I tell you what, the Auburn people would really enjoy this. Somebody that really understands it, and nobody knows that better than Cadillac and Zach Etheridge and those guys.
What is the effect that it has immediately on the program?
You know, you've seen some blowback a little bit, which I think, you know, with Auburn, they could have brought Jesus himself in and there'd have been blowback. But, you know, I think what you'll see is the fan base coalesce. Here's my thing. These same people that are screaming about hiring Hugh Freeze will be the first ones at Toomer's Corner when it's going well. Absolutely. It's just like it's the same people that were protesting, you know, keeping Brian Harsin, stop, you know, messing with Brian Harsin. We're the first one with pitchforks and torches walking up to the Auburn athletic department ready to fire him after the Arkansas game. Right. So I think that's the nature of the beast. Winning cures everything, but I think you're going to see it in recruiting. I think you're going to see a really good staff built around him. And I think he's going to hit the ground running. I know he's already been on the phone. And I think it's going to end up being a positive here as we get toward the real signing day, which is now in December.
Take me back to negotiation. How real was the stuff with Lane, and what did you make of the outcome with him at Ole Miss?
Yeah, I think it was real. I think it was real down to when they got to the buyout. I think Lane wanted a buyout that he thought was more suitable to what he could bring. I think Auburn, you know, thought that if we're going to pay you this amount of money, we've been through this buyout game before. The buyout isn't going to be what you want it to be, this huge number. I think that was the hang up at the end, but I do think it will be the best thing that has happened for Auburn that they got Hugh instead of Lane.
Now take me to tonight. What do you expect at 5, 6, and 7 here? No drama 1 through 4, right?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State should be 5.
Okay.
I really, when you look at them compared to Alabama, now if you're Tennessee, you're just kicking yourself for that South Carolina loss. I mean, you'd be sitting in a pretty good spot outside of obviously TCU and USC winning. If TCU and USC both win, it's a moot point. I feel like Alabama or that Georgia and Michigan are going to be able to take care of business, even though I think LSU can give Georgia somewhat of a game early. But if TCU and USC win, I think it's a wrap. Now, if one of them lose, Ohio State only has one loss. It was a blowout, but it was against Michigan. Alabama lost to a 3, possibly now 4-loss LSU team if they don't beat Georgia, and a Tennessee team that we know lost to South Carolina and lost a little bit of that spark. Now, knowing the committee, if Alabama has a chance to get in, they're going to put them in the best position they possibly can. But I do think Ohio State is at 5 tonight.
What did you make of LSU's weekend, or more importantly, what would you make of Texas A&M's weekend?
It's I don't know how LSU doesn't focus on stopping the only player that can beat you for A&M, which was A-Chain. I was surprised by that. Was I surprised that they lost? No. Was I surprised at the way they lost? Yes. I feel like LSU, for one of the few times this year, just thought they were going to show up and win.
Mm-hmm.
They could just roll their helmet out there and win. And that's not the case. That's not the case with this roster. It was the Super Bowl for A&M, trying to get some positive momentum in what's been an absolute disaster year. But I think Brian Kelly said it best. It was a speed bump. I think this is a game that if LSU's in position next year, they'll be able to point to and say how they'll be able to say, look what happened last year when we just rolled our helmet out there and thought we could win. It's a lesson. But it still stings. It still stings because it's A&M and you were catching them when they were down. But I think this, in the long run, may end up being a good thing for LSU, as crazy as that sounds.
Coaching search is coming to a halt all over the country, including at Nebraska with Matt Rule being landed on there. What'd you make of the fit?
I mean, I think Matt Rule's a good head football coach, but is he going to be a guy that excites recruits to go to Nebraska? I don't think so. Look, he's put lipstick on a pig twice. We saw it at Temple. We saw it at Baylor. But Nebraska still has really high standards. And, in a conference that we see where Illinois is starting to come up a little bit with Bielema, obviously we see what Michigan and Ohio State are doing. Penn State with James Franklin, getting that thing cranked up. You look at Minnesota and PJ Fleck, and we know Iowa, the offense can't be that bad forever. I just don't see it. I don't think Matt Rule's exciting enough. You may sneak up and beat a couple teams you're not supposed to, but I don't see Nebraska being a championship caliber team with Matt Rule. I just don't see it.
Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin surprise you?
A little bit, yeah, because, again, more on the Wisconsin side than the Luke Fickell side, because I thought y'all fired Paul Chryst to hire Jim Leonhard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that was the deal. It wasn't like Jim dropped the ball as the interim. I'm interested to see what he's going to do now. But, I put on social media, it seems to me like Luke Fickell is the kind of person that, is a struggling actor for a little bit, married or is, dating his high school sweetheart. They've been together 3 years, about to get married. All of a sudden he gets a part on Yellowstone. He's famous, dumps her and just starts dating Selena Gomez. We'll see if it works out. But man, I thought Luke was really going to ride it out in Cincinnati, especially since they were going Power 5. But guys, guess who graduated from Cincinnati and has a son on the staff right now? Urban Meyer.
No way.
Not a lot of people know that.
I was looking at Herb sitting at the Horseshoe on Saturday, shades on, hands across his chest. Day decides to punt it on that 4th and 3. They give a shot to Herb on the sideline. What do you think the status is of Day now that he's 0-2 against Michigan in his last couple of performances against the Wolverines? And then what's Urban Meyer's
What's he
life?
up to?
Yeah, where is he going? What's he gonna do?
Well, if I'm judging by the sunglasses he wears, he's going to try and kill James Bond. That's the way it looks to me. Look, I think it's got to be the right spot for Urban. It's got to be a place you can win a championship. But speaking about Ryan Day, now look, is he on the hot seat? No. But if he loses to Michigan next year and it's 3 in a row, you're going to start hearing. You're going to start hearing the chirping and the chirping and the chirping because, guys, I mean, they built their whole offseason program around beating Michigan this year after what happened last year, and Michigan just pistol whipped them. I mean, I don't know another way to put it. So I think Ryan Day, we could start seeing maybe if there's trouble in paradise next year, you lose 3 in a row. that doesn't sit well with Buckeye fans.
Does Day not want to get into the playoff, you think? Because what if he loses twice in a month?
No, I know he wants to get in the playoff. He wants another shot at him, but I mean, I just don't know the physicality level at Ohio State. Like, you played Georgia. We did a little game today where we did Georgia versus Ohio State, Alabama versus USC, TCU versus Clemson, Michigan versus LSU. And I'm looking at the physicality of these teams, and Ohio State, to me, just isn't super physical.
Right. Jay, great to see you. Thanks for everything. Thanks for catching up, man.
Hey, you too. Good luck in the SEC championship game, everybody.
All right, man. See you.
Thank you.
There is Jake Crain checking in from Crain and Company. Check him out there at Jake Crain _ is where you can find him on Twitter.
Do you think if you gave him some truth serum, he would have rather? He's obviously going to talk himself into Hugh Freeze for Auburn, but do you think he wanted Lane instead?
It's a good
Didn't
question.
everyone want Lane instead?
Because he would have, if they had hired Lane, he'd be up here saying that's the best hire that Auburn could have made.
Yeah.
But now you have to pivot and say the same thing about Hugh Freeze. It's not, they're not that
You
different.
don't have to say that.
I want to say that Jake said here, like right when they fired Harsin, he was like, "Good, now they can go hire Hugh Freeze."
He was the first one to mention that name. Yeah, you're right. So I guess maybe that's who we wanted.
I mean,
I've been trolling a lot of accounts, and I haven't seen one Auburn fan happy about this hire.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's weird.
That's surprising.
It seems like a bad move.
I mean, I feel like,
in my opinion,
well, I mean, who were you going to hire?
Lane Kiffin.
Well, they did. They tried.
Did they?
Jimmy played him.
Yeah.
Sexton?
It's a weird deal, right?
Lane played him.
Yeah, I think he did too. It's a weird
I think
deal.
it was more Sexton.
Like, why did Wayne late?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean,
wait
if
so
it's two
long?
Sexton clients.
Yeah.
And he was saying,
I gotta get both of them
pay my
contract.
guy, and then you can hire my guy. You know, I got you. I mean, it's all gonna work out, right?
So
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
That's
for
why
sure.
Jimmy has to be. I mean, if you talk about playing 4D chess every year, it's something
Oh,
that
God.
he's like, oh, I guess I'll just go make
There's
some
no
more money
better
really quick.
time than Thanksgiving for
him.
Jimmy Sexton.
God, do you remember last
Christmas comes early.
Yes, I mean that was part of the deal with LSU during Thanksgiving. Whenever it was,
He's the most powerful. He's the most powerful guy in the SEC.
yeah.
I mean, he really is.
Is
I mean,
he Mel Tucker's agent
He
too?
controls. Does he know how good of an agent he is?
I'm asking if he's Mel Tucker's agent.
Oh, I believe because he's a Saban guy. I mean, Saban early on was getting.
Raping him right now.
Yeah, Saban was kind of like a runner for Sexton early on. I mean, like Sexton has been Saban's agent from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's been his guy. So
Was
I
that
mean,
the first LSU contract? Was that Sexton? Whatever LSU paid Saban.
I don't know that, but I'm sure. I mean, you think back 23 years ago for Jimmy Sexton. I mean, that's very young in his career. You know, I mean, if that isn't the first, it ain't the fifth. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the early ones. Yeah, you nerd. Caskey's here.
He is post-coital. He's just so happy. He's been awful to me.
Digging him.
He's been awful to me in text messages. Just sent me the Caskey's clicker out of nowhere yesterday. He's like, "Oh, here's the A&M cut up if you want it." And I was like, "You haven't sent me one in 2 weeks."
He's Kirby's agent too.
Yeah, no, he's everybody's agent.
God.
I
mean,
just don't get
really,
it.
the story is who's he not
represent.
the agent of?
I have the list
some
right
point.
here from 9 years ago. If you want me to go down some of these names,
9 years ago. I mean, was this like updated like present day?
I'm looking at the 2022 list, and it's
Hit me
Reggie
with the,
White,
hit me
Scottie
with the
Pippen,
2022 list.
Reggie White, Scottie Pippen, Bill Parcells, Isaac Bruce, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Kirby Smart, Julio Jones,
Shaka Smart.
Jason Witten, and Phillip Rivers.
It's got to be more than that too.
That's
I mean, that's
and these are the coaches: Will Muschamp,
It's all Saban guys.
Houston Nutt, Tommy Tuberville, Saban, Chiswick, Gundy, Spurrier, Freeze, Fisher, Malzahn, Beamer, Cutcliffe, Rich Rod, Petrino, Dooley, Kevin Steele, Butch Davis, Larry Cocor, Phil Fulmer, Lane Kiffin. He is how is he not a billionaire?
That's over $1 billion in contracts.
I think it's like $3.3 billion in contracts.
I mean, he's the most powerful.
wild.
He's the most powerful dude in
There's
sports.
one more name
man.
on this list.
I mean, in
Kyle
the
Caskey.
SEC.
At one point, he was representing 11 of 14 SEC coaches.
Oh wow,
That's
power,
So,
man.
Lane Kiffin could have maybe won a natty at Auburn. Never going to happen at Ole Miss. And
I agree.
It really makes me wonder, like, is he as good of a coach as we've always said he is? Or is he not? Was this it for him? Like,
all
what
about
we saw
access to
this
the
year, like,
players.
he kind of made Ole Miss okay, which they ended up mediocre
Well,
like
I mean,
they
look,
always do.
let's not like get all nostalgic here and think that just because he's not taking the Auburn job, that he's locked in for
They're
another
Ole Miss,
decade.
yeah. No, I
You know
know,
what I
but,
mean?
like,
I think
why-
Hugh Freeze signed an extension at Liberty last week.
He did, like a 9-year
You know what
extension.
I mean? Like, I think Lane Kiffin signed an extension with Ole Miss over last Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean,
know.
they really don't mean – if that Miami job opens up again, I guarantee you he would take that
Do you
job.
think he's just waiting for something better?
I think that he's
But I
got a
thought
couple
Auburn
of jobs
would've
that he
been
would
it.
go for. I think that he would go back out to Cal. I think he would probably take the UCLA job.
Yeah.
I think he would probably take some type of California job because he's from there. But I think he would also take a Miami job. I mean, like
But why
he's-
stay somewhere mediocre if he's trying to grow? And if he can,
He's waiting
if he
because
can
he's
be so much better.
He's island hopped
Well,
so
I
many
mean,
times he has to wait for the next opportunity to be
So
perfect.
are you arguing that Auburn is great?
No, I'm arguing that they're better than Ole Miss.
Yeah, but I mean-
100% in every area.
And I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
They
But
are. This isn't a Mississippi State Ole Miss thing. They have more money. I mean, they have more power.
I would agree that they're more powerful in NIL and that they have a better chance to win the national championship than Ole Miss does. That doesn't mean that every job that opens up that he's offered to that he has to jump on because he
No.
thinks that. I think that he's probably pretty strategic now in the way that he looks at it and says, "Look, if these jobs open up, Jimmy, I'll take them.
Yeah.
If this job opens up at Auburn, unless they break my bank, I'll stay at Ole Miss. You can, use this as leverage and get me more money at Ole Miss, and I'm happy here. But if the Miami job opens up, if UCLA opens up, I don't know however many other ones,
Bama.
would maybe Bama,
Bama.
maybe so.
Arkansas.
I'm sure he's probably on that list
Totally, yeah.
of guys that are on the short
Arkansas?
list of.
He wouldn't
It's
leave
definitely
Ole
going to be a
Miss for
Saban
Arkansas,
guy
I think he
Yeah.
would.
for Arkansas.
Oh, the money.
What's the
Yeah.
appeal to Arkansas?
The
I
money.
mean, dude, I think Auburn has that type of money.
Yeah, but Auburn.
do.
We talked about this. Auburn can't. He doesn't want to deal with that bullshit. Like that. That's too much for
Man,
Lane Kiffin.
I think
Don't-
every school's got bullshit.
Every
I do
school
too.
does.
I do too. But Auburn's is very apparent. Like it seems to be maybe the most bullshit of anybody in the country. And that I feel like Lane Kiffin is like, look, I can do exactly what I want at Ole Miss. Nobody bothers me. I don't have to win. I can.
Bro, you
People
see-
still
he-
talk about
he
me like
didn't
I'm
know where
great.
the Grove was until
Yeah, he doesn't
this
care.
football
Yeah.
season.
And he still was probably
That's the
doesn't want
best
to
part
go
of the
to
piece.
It is.
Whoever the guys that's leading him around, he's like,
What's this?
he's like, you've never been to the Grove? He's like, no, I've never been to the Grove.
Coach,
I just hang out at my football office. He's like, what do you mean?
I
All right,
just- yeah.
Caskey is here, and we're going to break down film. He will tell us what the issue is with LSU, get us ready for LSU Georgia's matchup. Is Georgia beatable? Our coach will let us know next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, all of our stuff, all of our on-demand stuff is brought back to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, they can custom design a home for you. You want your dream house for Christmas and you're ready to make the plans, get with Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. If you need some remodeling done and some reconstruction around the house, Katie's got a crew over there at her house still taking care of a couple of projects that she's got moving. RMB Builders. You can check them out on Instagram. Remember, their IG is great, rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com is where you can find them online, and just search them at RMB on Instagram. Check out some of the projects. It is it's cool to look at and see what they got going on. All right, Caskey is here. He's in with us next, and class will be in session. So come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Go see our friends down in New Orleans at Katie's Restaurant, a true neighborhood restaurant down on Naperville Street. One of the favorites, man. Great menu selection. The pizza is fantastic. If you stop in and see Scott Craig, make sure you tell him that you heard it on the Jordy Culotta Show. I totally screwed up that story yesterday. His mom is not Italian. She is German. She is not 92. She was 99. His mother-in-law was the 93-year-old Italian. How about the genes in that family?
That's a lot of history.
Yeah, right.
They meet on the boat over?
Probably. Go check out the pizza at Katie's. Katie'sInMidCity.com. Katie'sInMidCity.com. It's our own Katie. It's her restaurant down there on Iberville Street.
I wish it was.
Go support us down there and eat the pizza. The Brad Bird. It's my favorite. Coach Caskey is here, gloating, riding the high of Texas A&M's 4th win of the year. As the offseason began for the Aggies last Saturday, you were victory lapping. It looked like you had a great experience, though. All jokes aside.
It was the 5th win of the year, by the way. It was the 5th
Oh,
win.
my bad.
5 wins. We storm the field when we get 5, all right?
Yeah, right.
4, we're not going out there.
That's
5,
right,
man, it's
that's
time
right.
to go.
Everybody load up. But our boy Lucci took care of you. The pictures were great. They were great.
Yeah, Lucci got me the
Oh,
tickets
Luch.
I had. We were up in the zone club in the end zone.
Nice.
And, it was good because it was a little cold, and my wife and kids were with me, so they got a chance to every once in a while go in, warm up, grab me a beer or two, and come back, and it was good. I got sideline passes. Actually, some guys at A&M hooked me up with some sideline passes, which was really cool because I had my two little ones who'd never been to College Station, so I'm on the sideline. And my man Greg McElroy, who was a backup in Cincinnati for a year, he's doing all this stuff now. Y'all's favorite Bama quarterback.
Yeah, he's like LSU's color guy now, man.
Yeah,
they've called like 7 games.
So anyway, he's on the field and he comes over. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm trying to get my kids out on the field." And there was like this red line. Y'all seen the red, it's the red and the yellow line. And they're like, "You cannot go past the red line." I mean, they are like hawking us. And it's not even like anybody down there. It's like 6 people on the sideline at the time. And so he goes, he looked at the guy, he goes, these two are with me. He takes my two oldest boys and runs them out to the logo. And it's kind of cool because there's a couple players out there. My boys are like, they're little. Sure. And they're like, whoa, look at these guys, And, those LSU guys were like on one side of the logo, A&M's on one side of the logo. And Greg's like trying to get them to he's like, look at me. He's trying to get the picture taken. So, but that was cool. It was a great weekend. Saw some friends. We used to do Thanksgiving, all the time down there when I was in school, and we had some really good friends that still have the same house. It was crazy. Went in, it was like literally like a time machine. The house had changed a little bit, but it was like the people were the same. It was a cool weekend. So it's good for my soul, put it that way.
Absolutely, man. It was good to get back home and see your people.
Yeah.
All right.
Kids poisoned now? Was that A&M?
They've always been poisoned.
Was that okay? But was that I feel poisoned wearing this right now.
See, I think Lloyd. That's you might as well put your computer down.
Lloyd.
No, dude. I've never worn this.
What year are you?
Before.
What year are you, Lloyd? You look like a yell leader.
Yeah. How many?
Hey, that's
class of 2022.
I do have.
You actually look like Reveille.
I do have a yell practice story because we had these grand plans. We were going to go. I was going to take my wife to Midnight Yell, and I was like, okay.
Has she ever seen one?
She had been to one a long time
after
ago.
she married you?
Yeah.
Not pre.
No, it was actually pre-married me.
Wow.
Pre-married me. So anyway, the only reason I was going to take her is because they shut the lights off. And you get to kiss your date, and that's the only time I probably get to kiss her that day. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take her and kick the lights off. Get a little action. And so we go to Wings and More, and we're sitting there. It's about 8:00, and kids are down. My mom was actually in town, so she's watching the kids. And
ready to go get freaky? Let's go to yell practice.
Midnight.
So we're at Wings and More.
Midnight.
I've got this big goblet of beer in front of me, some wings. I'm having a good old time. And a buddy of mine texts me a picture of him at yell practice, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what's going on? Come to find out, there was a big storm that was coming, and it did come through. Wow. This huge storm came through at like 11. They moved yell practice to 7.
Oh, you
and didn't tell us. I
don't know how to schedule.
Texas
they didn't send me the schedule. So I had grand plans to be texting y'all at like 12:30 and with all kinds of random stuff. But it did allow us to go to Northgate, so we got to go to the Chicken and all that fun stuff. So that was good. There was by the way, there was a ton of LSU people out on Friday night. You'd be surprised. I figured
Houston. People coming over from
maybe
Houston?
I guess, but there were a ton there. And the one thing about the atmosphere at A&M, y'all talk about, well, what was the issue with LSU? LSU didn't play that bad of a game. A&M just
took it to them.
They actually played like they were supposed to play the entire year, which almost makes you mad as an A&M person to say, where was that all year?
Right.
And the atmosphere there, man. I've been to Kyle Field 100 times, as a player, as a kid. There was something different there the night, and so LSU brings their smaller band. It's not the full band, but the travel band.
Yeah.
These dudes had some balls on them. Now they marched playing all the LSU dun, 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 all that stuff. They marched through the main tailgate area of A&M, and with no
security,
nothing. Yeah. I'm sitting there like,
security.
If this was an Aggie band marching,
draw your horns, boys.
If this was the Aggie band marching through the tailgate area in front of Tiger Stadium,
Jesus, dude,
they'd have been shot.
Oh man, I mean, you taking like a fifth to the head.
I'm like, these dudes had some balls, And I'm like, but anyway, we get in. But
there's the band. They're all in the party
The
box.
atmosphere was different. There was something different the other night. It was
good. I'm glad we can bring that out of y'all.
Really, I guess it was. I don't know, but again, it was A&M's bowl game in all reality.
Yeah, right.
This was the last time.
Tell you what, Coach, we can make all the jokes we want, man. That freshman class is special.
Shoot, I'll tell you,
man. I mean, those kids are.
Didn't see Jacoby Matthews Saturday though.
I did see him tweet out a new profile pic yesterday. That was pretty concerning. Looks like he's staying by the profile pic.
There's I don't know who half these guys guys were. I think they were tight ends. But there was a group of guys. I never heard their names, so I don't know if they're freshmen that are redshirting or what. They had a group of tight end looking guys that looked like professional. Like when they walked on the field, I'm like, who are? I looked at their names. I'd never heard of them, but I don't know if I don't know where they came from. I don't know if they pulled them, off the street somewhere just to make them look better. I don't know what happened the other night, but they didn't play either. So
$30 million, you can buy a lot of shit.
You can buy a lot of stuff.
All right, let's get into it. What the hell is going on with LSU, man?
All right,
real quick, they were in it. If they score on the drive that they fumbled,
game's changed.
It's a totally different game, right? I'm not here to say they win it, but it feels different.
100%. If they don't fumble that ball, and if and again that whole catch rule thing in the back of the end zone. So here's the thing.
Calvin Johnson shit, coach.
That was as like gray area as you can get, and it all depended on what the guy said on the sideline.
What the call was.
Yeah,
right?
if he would have called it a touchdown,
stays a touchdown.
it's a touchdown, and that's the difference between. I almost believe in this. This is the way I look at it: is if you're in doubt, give them the touchdown or give them the first down or whatever it is, and allow, because if you or allow the turnover to happen, I guess is what I'm saying. Stuff that doesn't have to be challenged, stuff that doesn't have to, and I know in college
automatically reviewed.
It's automatically reviewed. I'm thinking more NFL stuff in my mind, really.
Yeah.
But if you allow that if you say touchdown, then it goes back to review, and then you can go back and say, okay, yeah, it didn't look right. But then when you're trying to say, because that's the difference between making it stand and being confirmed, because if it stands, they really don't know, so they just said, all right, we'll leave it where it was. But if it's confirmed or overturned, then okay, there was visual evidence. So, but I think if one of those two things goes the other way, it's probably a different game, But but honestly, the one thing, and I mentioned to y'all over text message, I thought the thanks. I hear you.
Who's not paying attention in class? Miss Alligood, close your computer. Come sit up here, please.
You do realize that's like a $5,000
fine. Kangaroo court.
What is the fine in NFL?
It depends. It's all conduct detrimental.
Like what's Sean Payton's fine for a fucking phone on or sleeping? Because he comes from the Parcells school, right? He'll just cut you.
He'll cut you. He'll cut you.
Wow.
So I was
Katie. Appreciate it. Leave your iPad at the door.
So I was with
playbook.
I was with Matt Patricia for 2 years in Detroit.
Okay, Belichick guy.
Belichick is Parcells.
Yeah, right.
It's what, it all comes from the same thing. Saban. It all come from the same tree. And if you were told to have your iPad off, because a lot of times your playbook and your videos on your iPad, so you want them to watch it, but at the same time that's where their notes are and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to be careful about, hey, turn your iPad. But there's times where they go, turn your I want your iPad off right now because I want you looking at the front.
Oof.
And those
up here.
There's been some guys that they didn't get cut, but there's been some guys kicked out, and then I didn't see them for.
One of my favorite stories is the Jimmy Johnson early days Dallas Cowboys when he's trying to make his name, and he made the 52 cut, made the 53 cut, and the next meeting he walked in and somebody was either late or somebody was sleeping, walked up to him, said, "You're cut." And they said, "Coach, what if that would have been Troy Aikman?" He said, "I'd have woke him up."
No doubt. Well, that was the other thing. So Matthew Stafford had a really good system on his iPad he used OneNote or something like that. But he was he had a way of taking notes, but he had all the stuff he had integrated into his OneNote, and so he's sitting there and he's always typing, and he's Matthew Stafford. He's paying attention, and he was the one guy and that never really was told to turn your iPad off.
Yeah, right.
We were kind of all right. But
I'm the quarterback coach.
Matt doesn't have his. We know.
We know.
But what I was going to say before we were rudely interrupted. But I thought the receivers didn't really get open for LSU. Yeah. There was something to that, and again, that's A&M probably playing their best coverage or whatever. But again, they weren't as open as you've seen them. So a lot of these Jaden Daniels plays that in the past we've said, hey, they've got open play, they got open players. This time it was he's back there going, all right, well, I guess I got to run, And the other thing too is I think we all, I mentioned it last week, was Evan Stewart and Devon A-Chain. Those guys, if they were going to play, it was a different ball game. Mm-hmm. And I think A-Chain made a name for himself.
Sheesh.
We all knew him as if you watch A&M football, but he hadn't had that just game yet. Everybody knew he's fast, but man, that guy, he made some plays the other day, and some of that stuff was on him. It wasn't it was just. I mean, that guy was making plays. So I think A&M played out of their minds. which kind of, like I said, where was that all year? But if you want to get into the film here, so I got a couple plays on each side of the ball, and actually I got 3 plays on each side of the ball, and I've got a couple of Georgia clips going into the big show later. First off, I just want to talk about John Emery. We talked about the bounce back for John Emery, and this kid. I mean, this kid just you could tell, like, with the way he ended up the game before with 2 fumbles, I believe, and just kind of like on the mat. I mean, this guy was just beat down. But I do want to point out that there's still a pretty good amount of movement by these guys. And this is that play. So, we always talk about that unbalanced look that they have where they've got, kind of guys. I believe there's another guy down here. So really, if you look, they've got 4 guys over here and they got nobody up here. So A&M's doing that kind of same thing where they've got a couple guys over here. Like, what are you doing? Who are you covering over there?
Covering green grass.
And it's crazy because when Besh runs over here, then they bring this guy back over and he reads. It like pulls all these guys out of here. And it's a really good job of you see how this guy jumped over here. This guy jumped over. Even 27 jumps over here. And it's like everybody's so worried about him that you forget, oh, there's John Emery and really untouched into the end zone. And I thought that was a good play design. I don't think anybody meant for, because if you look, they're really just reading this guy, and they're bringing the tight end back to go over here, and they're running him over here. And I mean, all these guys, including this guy, come over here, and
cool.
It allows Emery, and again, I love to see. I don't have his other touchdown on here, but his other touchdown was kind of just an easy one. But if you look right here, I mean,
give him that. It's over.
That's you give that to any back on LSU's team or A&M's team probably at this point. But you give that to John Emery for sure. I mean, he's like
6.
Oh, that easy, huh? And
so, Coach, real quick, it might be an unfair question. If it is, you can pass on it. But if you were advising him, and I know you know him, so if you are, you can. What would you tell him to go or come back?
Man, that's a good question, because I at this point right now, if Josh Williams is really going to be the starter at this point, I'm just saying if he's taking it over, and that's the mindset of the team, which it seems like I don't know what he must be hurt.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah, Josh must be really hurt if he's not playing. So he was suited out the other day, which I thought he was going to get in there. But I think if John looks at it and says, okay, well, Armani's coming back, I'm assuming there's Noah Cain.
Yeah,
coming back.
And then they got 2 of the best rushers in the state coming in.
So I would say, if I was advising him, I'd say probably, dude, listen, you've got a big enough name. You're not going to be a first rounder anyway. There's not very first round backs, so you're going to get picked up somewhere in the middle. Go make a team, and you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. And the thing is I always tell guys this is it doesn't matter how you got in the building. It doesn't matter how you got in the building. It just matters how you
contribute,
how you make the team. And I think John Emery has a chance of doing that.
Well, and especially with Williams hurt, don't you think that this is his opportunity to, like, if you're John Emery, go ball out in the SEC championship, ball out in the bowl game, and now the name that you made for yourself, the potential that you had is kind of coming to fruition. Your stock can be higher.
And he did that the other night. I know in a loss, it's people are gonna say, well, they lost the game. For what we're talking about here, that doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, right.
Because when coaches are looking at film, they're going to go and they're going to say, I want to see John Emery. When did he have his best game? Well, he had his best game against A&M in a game where A&M played their best game. And they're going to say, that's why I'm going to go watch that game. What did he do in that? They're not going to go back, and they will, don't get me wrong. They'll find out, oh, he had 2 fumbles against UAB. Why? What happened?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go back and look at them. But
how in the hell do y'all do all of this scientific research on draft prospects? And Jameis Winston, it took him 4 years in the league to figure out he was blind.
Well, Jameis Winston.
How does that happen?
Because first off, when Jameis Winston came out, we didn't have nearly as much of the analytical data as we have now. I'm talking what I mean by that is they actually have, like Jack Marucci here does all this stuff with your eyes and like where can you see where's your peripheral,
your dominant vision,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And they used to make Jacoby Stevens rush off the right side because he could see better.
Well, that's there was actually a thing where there were some receivers.
Florida State has a blind quarterback.
If you have a receiver that can see out of his right eye better, you want him running routes that are left going right because he's turning and looking out of the right side instead of running left, looking out of his right, or running, from the right, looking out of his left, because it's like there is something to that. But again, that's what that was. So,
yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. All right, so moving back to
measuring hands.
Moving back to this.
But can you see?
That hand thing.
Actually, no.
That hand thing's a weird deal, man.
It's a weird deal, huh?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Palm to tip.
Yeah, I know. And the crazy thing is, you get somebody with like a crooked thumb.
Sorry, buddy.
Bro, you got like a 6-inch hand, man. Sorry. All right, so this one. So we're talking about the scrambles and things that happen. I want you to watch it. So I would say honestly, for the most part, the line did a decent job of protection, and this was A&M was bringing as many, like you can see here, like they're spying. They had spies on Jaden Daniels. They were doing the same stuff. But look at what John Emery does here. This is pretty good. So Jaden Daniels drives back. I mean, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he breaks a sack right here, and then but look what Emery did. I don't know if they had this figured out, and like they said, hey John, you've got like you got to check down over the ball. So John's checking over the ball. He knew he had a spy guy. He actually goes. I don't know, but he blocks the spy guy.
Did you do that?
He's behind the line.
Yeah,
Watch the black line. And that's something. So that's a totally legal play. He's just in pass protection.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So probably what happened was that was his guy in protection. He's like, oh crap, my guy's coming.
Yeah, right.
But it looks to me like, oh, here goes Jaden Daniels. Here's your spy guy. I'm going to go ahead and block it. But I want to make a point of Jaden Daniels breaking this sack, because this is another level of what the guy is able to do. And again, there's not a whole lot of open receivers out there, but you got a free runner here running at him, and really that right there should be a sack all day. But again, he's like, I mean, the dude was like, look at the way this guy is here at this one point. I mean, this guy's draped on his back.
Free runner.
What happened there?
But look, I mean, he's riding. He rode him down. And I mean, that's bad on this guy right here. But again, you're talking about, and then right here, hopefully the kid's okay. I'm assuming he is, right? Is he gonna? He should.
Coach, that hit on that 2-point conversion.
It was bad.
It was wicked.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Now I know nobody really wants to talk about this play as much, but this is the fumble. Here's the thing. This is where I'm having the issue right
2 out of the last 3 games.
That's where I'm having the issue. You have 2 guys. You got 2 guys outside of the read here. You got the read and a guy outside, and
just give all day.
And I get it. This guy's coming back. 86 is coming back. But you got another guy right here for. And it's really, that's the crazy thing is like to me that is, you should have just handed the ball off right there. But this is one of those plays you could see the ball already coming out right there. This was not a mesh issue. I've heard people talking about mesh issues and things like that they have had issues. Don't get me wrong, but that's not a mesh issue. That was an issue with.
You didn't put it up.
And again, I'll fast forward through that for just because I respect you guys. But again, if you handed this off, it may not be a great run. This may not be a great run.
But it might.
But
it's better than the alternative.
But at the same time, you're down here instead of a touchdown there. So
the way Ford was playing, Coach.
Oh, look at that!
Might have hit his head on the goalpost.
So I just want to make that. I just want to make the point of I'm not sure why he didn't hand that off.
And if you're coaching him up right, and you go in there, you say, "Look, I respect Jaden Daniels. What you're trying to do, trying to make a play, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Whenever he's not be able to throw it well, or the passing's not working, he has no problem trying to put the team on his back. And this is just, it's at least it's not an effort issue. Because
like right here,
he's trying to win it for you.
Right here, he's actually got the ball put away. It's just the problem is, you see how his elbow's up, and that's the biggest issue is you want your elbow. It doesn't matter where it is. You don't want that space, that little sliver of space right there, because what happens is, boom, it just gets knocked out. And again, that was a great play by the guy who made it. I believe his name was Cooper. Now this guy Richardson, y'all know where else y'all have heard of him?
That's the dude that scooped up the.
That's the dude that scooped up Arkansas.
Yeah. So he's from Eunice or one of those places in Louisiana.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yes, but this kid
found the end zone.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and beat Arkansas, and then here's a good look at it right here. I forgot I had this angle. This is a great.
The drone shot.
This is people talk about the all-22. Yeah. We got the drone shot, boys.
Caskey's clicker.
Caskey's got the A&M hook up.
But really, right here, you see how this guy sees. He's in a spot here where he comes over here, Yeah, if you hand it off, you're going to have to run through this guy's arm tackle. But you're
Coach,
talking about
John is breaking that.
But you got a bunch of guys over here. That's what I'm saying. It's just
simple math.
It is. But again, you can't get the thing about Jaden Daniels is do you want
to live with it?
Do you want to take away his creativity, the type of player he is? No, you don't want to do that. So now everybody talks about Perkins and how he kind of disappeared in this game. I do kind of agree with that. But again, every game he does something that I go, wow. And this was a wow right here. He's down here at the bottom, and right here Wegman's gonna end up. So he rushes around. Okay, so really, you talk about rushing these kind of guys. You don't want to rush past him. You want to rush to him and then go in. Well, he rushes past him, so he rushes around. Now this kid about falls down. Talking about Perkins. Watch what he does. Watch this. Just change of direction right there. So he just did his little stumble bum. He's got his hand on the ground. This guy's not slow.
Yeah.
I mean, he chases him down.
Does he get hurt right here?
Well, I think he landed on the guys. I think he got kicked.
Oh, okay,
I think what happened was he
Oh.
got the heel in the chest. And it doesn't matter if you got pads on or not. Knock.
He landed on a rock.
Yeah. Because I think he was. But if you look,
Wegman like he did something.
The fact that there's a good, 3-yard difference right there, and he's got his hand on the ground. And he gets out of it. So I mean, Perkins still did something. You see, I think that's what it was. If you look at him, he kind of bent down right there.
That's some LT stuff right there.
I think no doubt. But when you see that, I think that's the air.
Trying to catch his breath.
That's the air knocked out of him. I think he just got the heel to the
chest. It's funny how that no matter who that happens to, everybody feels the same.
Now, so this is a touchdown. So but again, this is a cutback, and I want you to just watch. In all reality, they're doing like a blitz into this. So they you got Perkins coming in here. Perkins goes inside. I don't know again what their scheme is on who's filling out here, but Perkins does end up inside of here. This guy, you could call that a hold, but they didn't. But again, you got a guy here that can make the play. You got a guy here that can make the play. And again, watch A-Chain come up here and do this. And again, that you don't coach. You can't. I mean, I say you don't coach that. You can coach that all you want, but in all reality, that type of move right there, that's just God-given ability. But you look at all the guys that had a chance to get to him, and again, that's just something that you haven't seen a whole lot of that from LSU this year. About just kind of missing that many tackles. They had the one against Florida, the long run, but you've seen them get better. I can guarantee you this. Those running backs for Georgia are good.
Yeah,
and they're gonna. What's that?
Kendall Milton.
Yeah,
yeah,
and they're gonna have a hard time if they don't get their tackling right.
Yeah.
But if they get their tackling right, I think they'll be fine. But here's another one quick look at this little move that this guy makes. So here's Fouché coming over here, and you can see how he's turned his legs. His legs are kind of, he's got his hips pointed this way.
See ya.
Well, the problem is that's what running backs see. Running backs aren't looking at your head.
Sure.
Because what's the one thing that moves with your body? The one thing that never goes away that you cannot juke somebody with?
Your waist.
Your waist, right? So why basketball players always tell me, look at the waist, because it's always going to take you where it's going to go. And right now his waist is pointing this way. So A-Chain said, nope.
See ya.
and that's just, again, I think A-Chain, he's a world-class sprinter too.
Right.
And it's just tough.
Right. Remember Greg Jones, the running back out of Florida State, Greg Jones? Before he got real like David Boston big.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of how he could like put his foot in the ground.
He can make those moves.
Go, bro.
Man, he can make those moves. All right, Moose Muhammad, again, he didn't have his sleeves on. Okay, so
that's unfortunate.
Y'all
he's the type of player. Let him wear whatever the hell he wants to wear.
That's what I don't understand.
He wear 2 different color shoes if he wants.
He could have put on purple and gold.
Yeah, it don't matter.
And you just say, dude, go out there. But he made some plays. Again, we call this. We used to call this like a stomp, but it's really an inside go. So you're the inside receiver, and you're really running that fade route to where the outside go would be, and you've got an inside player doing something to hold the underneath coverage. But this is great coverage. That's great coverage. You got 2 guys. That's great coverage. I don't know how you could have said play that any better.
Gosh.
Now the only thing I would have told the safety here is, hey, bro, listen, don't target him. Don't target him, but you just go put your shoulder in his chest right here. But that catch, he had another one on the same exact route out in the field that was. See what I'm saying? See, it's kind of this. That's all it was. It was just an inside a slot go, and I mean, you're telling me that he could have. You're telling me that 15 could have covered that any better than that.
Can't play that better.
You tell me he could have played that any better than that. I don't think 15 could have played that any better than that. The only thing I would have told him was to go put your shoulder in there, but nobody thinks he's making that catch.
No way. How about
who's holding who?
How about Muhammad's quarterback in high school? Drake May.
Yeah. Golly, could you imagine playing them together in high school? Oh, we'd throw for about 4 touchdowns.
I just don't see. I mean, I can't. You cannot tell 15 right here. You can't tell him. You cannot tell him.
There's no coaching technique.
There's nothing you say. You say, dude.
Right. There's nothing you say. Do this better.
He got us. Yeah. I mean, so
Coach, if this happens in early 2000s, I mean, number 3 just puts his head right on his head.
Kills him.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. That would have been one of those
jacked
things
jacked up.
Yeah. I mean, he would have we used to, did y'all not get coached?
Put the crown of your helmet into the chin strap.
You're young. How old are you?
26.
You're 26. So you probably had the whole targeting thing probably coming up, but maybe
it was like as targeting was coming in.
But like when I played my last high school year was 96. I remember they used to tell us, you put the crown of your helmet under their chin. Like they used to tell you that.
This is a good technique.
They were like, no, put the crown of the helmet under your chin and
run full speed at him.
Take him out.
Look at his feet.
See what you hit.
Just
put
run
your
straight.
Screws on.
Run straight through him.
Put your screws right between his eyes. Like, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now go play the ball.
Hey, I will say this. I got to go out on the practice field the other day for the first time in years, and it was crazy. It was the same practice field we had at A&M, and the only thing that came to my mind, I took a picture of my son in this end zone area, and that's the only concussion I can ever remember, and I don't remember it. But Dante Hall was a running back. I was playing scout team linebacker. It was a goal line session, and they told me he's going to jump over the line. We want you to go
with him.
We want you to go meet him. So I'm like, cool. Get to go nail. Hit Dante Hall as hard as I want to up in there. So I jumped up there. Next thing I know, I'm kneeled by the goalpost behind the end zone, and the coach is yelling at me, "Get back in! It's been 3 plays." I'm like, 3 plays?
Coach, I have no idea where I am.
I'm like on my knee. I'm like on my knee with my helmet in my
Don't
hand.
be soft, Caskey. Get back in the game.
That's the only time. But again, that's a
So wait, Dante Hall, the kickoff return extraordinaire, Dante Hall.
Oh yeah, we freaking. I mean,
I forgot he went to A&M.
Oh yeah, the
X Factor.
It was crazy, man. The hit was good. He by far got the best of me, but he hit me just perfect. I mean, we were bam, and I was next thing I know, I'm apparently 3 plays later.
Was he that good in college?
Yeah.
Was he? He was like Dante Hall.
He got released from the team because of he was parking in border regions or something. It was the '99 season. He got cut off the team. But this was back when A&M, we had won the Big 12 the year before. A&M was number 5 in the nation in '99, and this was exactly what was happening this year happened that year, where it was just it all went downhill real fast, and we just had a bunch of issues on
Dante,
the team.
you can't park there, right?
No,
I do, Coach.
Yeah, I do. Here,
I actually do.
Here, take my keys.
Yeah, right.
I've
been knowing every day I can't park there, Coach.
You're cut. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go around a 4.42 in the combine.
I'm gonna go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So moving on to something better now. So A&M aside, LSU still gets to play for the SEC.
Yeah,
y'all do realize that, right? Y'all do remember that, right?
They're still playing. Let me take a break real quick. Yeah,
okay.
No. Coming right back. Extended version of Caskey's Clicker. Come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
I didn't realize we were going so long, man.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression and anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
All right, we're back. It's the anniversary of Caskey's Clicker. For those who didn't get to enjoy what just happened, apparently I stepped in some dog poop on the way in.
He did. Old Caskey stepped in shit.
I guess Reveille got in my way.
That's right. That's right. So sorry for the extended break.
So I not only do I come in gloating about A&M, I bring dog shit into the building.
Yeah,
so,
after you ruined LSU season, bring dog shit into my studio. And now I have to watch Caskey's clicker
Well,
about
the good
A&M
thing. Well, the good
in
thing.
the hoodie.
No, the good thing is we're starting out with Georgia preview here. So
Oh, there we go.
All right, Stewie, I'm ready to roll. All right, Georgia. What's the one thing about Georgia that sticks out to you about their offense that's better this year than normally?
Quarterback.
Right? This kid's playing out of his mind, but he does have good players around him. But he doesn't have like those elite players like that you've seen like Alabama have in the past.
We talked about it earlier. He's throwing Ladd McConkey and
Blake Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers and
Yeah.
Darnell Washington. And that's like their three playmakers. And number one's pretty good. And
yeah.
Blaylock can play.
And the other thing too is their running
Bowers is a
backs.
stud.
Their running backs are really good, and the running backs can be used in the pass game. So as we start looking at their offense, am I up there yet? You got? I think I'm. Stewie's still mad at me for the A&M thing, so
That's right. He's acting out.
It was pain
sabotage. All right, here we go. All right, so looking at Georgia's offense and Stetson Bennett, the one thing that people don't give this kid enough credit for is he can run, and you got to be careful with this kid. So this is a 64-yard scramble for a touchdown, and you'll see this from the end zone, but. The kid's not slow. He's not a blazer by any means. But again, it's Auburn, so I'm not sure.
Staquavius.
But I thought I had the backside of that one. I guess I don't. So,
but look at 10. He thought he was going to track him down.
But if you watch what happened here, this is where you got to be careful when you run these. They're an empty. So when you get an empty and you start running guys out and you start getting guys that are kind of running out, it opens this middle part up, and this is where. I showed earlier Perkins kind of running past the quarterback. Well, both of these guys, 29 runs past the quarterback, and then he finds that little seam in there. And again, you gotta be careful with this kid because he does have some wheels on him when he wants to run, and you can't let him out. This cannot be a game where you say, "Oh, okay, we got to stop the run and we got to just play drop back protection or just play the drop back, just whatever."
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way. So if you watch this again. I want to show you this. That he's much more physical now. I'll tell you this: at the NFL level, if a quarterback started doing this more often than not, you'd be like, dude, you better watch yourself, bro.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
But right here, he gets to the edge, and then he tries to he tries to kind of do stuff there, and you'll see the next one I got. But he's trying to stay in bounds.
Little fake pitch,
bro. He's in his bag this year.
So Stetson Bennett can run. Now this one's a really. This one here is physical at the pylon. So he's coming back. You can see his eyes are over here. He's going to end up running over here to the pylon. And again, you can see, this is Tennessee's playing. I think Tennessee at the time was
upper two
or something, weren't they?
Yeah, it was 1 versus 2, I think.
But right here, he's got, he's running to that pylon right there. And I just want to make the point of he's a much more physical runner than you want. Now this could have been, You could have said that's targeting right there. That's that. But again, this is what gets me. This guy has to go make a play, and he's the one that lowered his helmet.
Yeah,
what do you want me to do?
I never understood that.
You've got to have some sense, and that's why it drives me crazy when I see them go to replay and they say, "Oh yeah, well it hits it perfect.
Yeah,
he's crown of the helmet."
He lowered the crown of the helmet.
He didn't lower his crown of the helmet. The other, he was trying to do everything he was supposed to do, and the other guy, the runner, happened to right before contact. Duck his head. But now again, you talk about his throwing. Now this is just a dime throw right here. So the kid's got, you talk about putting that ball where nobody else can get it, and that's a great throw. So
is this just a product of? We all saw Stetson Bennett last year, and he was. He wasn't even the starter.
Yeah.
And he comes in. Is this just a product of just straight up confidence?
I think when you play a lot more and you get these kind of plays and you start making those kind of plays, that's when you start to realize
I might be better than I thought.
Maybe I'm good. Maybe I'm good. Because I don't know if y'all saw the whole thing with Tua the other day. And it talked about he looked at himself in the mirror last year and said, "Do I suck?
Am I not good at football?"
Yeah.
And then how great is the response from the coach though?
Yeah, but you can't get down. You can't get down on yourself like that. That the one person that can't be down on you is you.
Right.
Because if once a person gets down on themselves, then you're screwed. Because then your mind's a powerful thing and it works against you. And and again, this goes into the stuff in the holidays. If anybody's having some mental issues, man, call somebody. All right, I'm just throwing that out there. I lost a friend last week. I didn't know until a couple days later. lost a good friend of mine, and it was due to mental health. And I'm just telling y'all, man, if you got issues, call somebody. Call me. Find me on Twitter. Send me a message. I'll talk to you.
I'll help. Coach you up.
Just wanted to throw that out there. Brock Bowers, talking about the players he's throwing to. So this kid does a lot of good things. But you can see this is just a straight up just dump pass, like a tight end dump. It's just easy.
That's high school.
That's high school ball. But if you watch what he does here when he gets the ball, I mean, the kid kind of looks lunky and all that, but he's got that long stride.
It's like he picks up speed.
It's like when you see, like, remember Michael Johnson, the sprinter?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look fast.
But he was.
But he was moving because he had that just smooth stride to him. And that's kind of what this kid's doing. Because if you watch here, there's a lot of guys that are about to make this tackle too. And you see he makes that – see how his hips are turned this way? Again, make him go around him, and that's what –
86 looks like he's looking for a ball.
I want to play.
What? Speaking of, speaking of, I want you to watch that was a good play by 86 right here, not to do anything. Watch 86 right here. He's thinking right now, I'm about to blow this guy up. You know that whole thing about blocking towards your end zone?
Yeah, peel back.
Nope, I'm done.
Look at Ladd running down the field, just does all the little things, Coach.
Cut him off.
All right, speaking of Ladd McConkey. No, actually, I got one more. I'm sorry. I got one more here with this is Darnell Washington.
Oh.
This is a big number 0.
Yeah, watch this one.
This was week 1 or week 0 or whatever you call it. I mean, he's tackled, right?
6'7",
he's tackled, right? Get off of me!
Good
all right.
Lord!
All right, hold on. He's running down the field. Okay, he's not. He's for sure. Now, if this was the Seattle Seahawks, one of these dudes would come jumping off the sideline.
Get away with it.
But look at my man. This is a big man. Number 0 is not a small dude. I don't know his exact measurements, but
he's 6'6", 260.
That's a big man, and he just absolutely just hurdled this dude.
Just hurdled this dude.
Oh,
break this tackle.
That was I remember seeing that play live and going, man, who's this guy? All right, so Ladd McConkey, 84. So this is technically, I believe, a pass, but it's really just a jet sweep. But again, this guy has when you kind of see him, his last name's McConkey, by the way. McConkey. You know, you don't really think of a guy named McConkey. Actually, this was a handoff. But there's my man, Big 0, taking out about 8 people here. But McConkey just on a
speed.
You know, where's Katie when we need her? Outrunning those Mississippi State guys.
Just slow, but hey, getting there.
Yeah. So again, McConkey. So if you look here, so all this is just a naked. So he's coming here and he's going to end up leaking out over here. 84 is. You can see he's right here and he's going to come here. Now this is just a simple pass, but again, when you get here, you know, we do these sideline drills all the time. We set up a drill. And you've got a defender coming here like this, and you coming here like this, and it's the defender's job to either get you to cut back in or square up and make the tackle. And I mean, look at the move this kid makes on this guy. So there's
you can see he's about to put his foot in the ground.
Makes a guy miss. So this guy's and he makes another guy miss. Oh, almost got in there, but. Again,
sneaky athlete.
He is a sneaky athlete. So you can't see it down here, but he runs like a little stutter and go. I just drew red through red right there, but it's a little stutter and go. But he's down here at the bottom. He's off the screen at this point, and he drops this thing. Look how bad he. And that's Tennessee again. Now I know Tennessee had their issues on defense, especially in this game, but this is like the number 2 team in the nation that he just did this against. So you got to be careful about not letting this guy sneak up on you because he shouldn't sneak up on you. So we're going to look at their running backs real quick. I don't know how to say this guy's first name. I'm not, and I don't want to butcher it. His number 30. His last name's Edwards. Daijun, like Dajun. But I don't want. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, sir.
You said
Daijun. It's Edwards.
Dejan. Yeah, it's Dejan.
Dejan Edwards. So this kid. So this is number 30. But these are the type of running backs these guys have. So they don't run anything that none of these other teams don't show. But now watch this finish to this run. They're still going. And again, that I think is when I think of Georgia and I think of Georgia football, I think of what the end of this play looks like. I think of a bunch of dudes that play harder than you're going to play. They're great athletes, but they play harder, and they're going to try to break your will by doing things like
I
that.
got everybody pushing the pile.
And look at watch the end of the play. Watch all the linemen get up, shaking their heads. Yeah, I got you. You know,
hog molly
63 from New Orleans.
And here's another look. Now look, this is look at this play as it develops. Again, that's really your read, and you got another guy outside the read. And it's the same play, I believe, that they ran, because remember they ran a tight end back. I'm talking about LSU on the fumble, but this guy's outside of that, and it's just that's
straight give.
You give it to him. And I'm not saying John Emery would have done that, but there's a chance. But if you watch the end of this play, this is what I think of Georgia football, and this is what LSU I think. And I've seen LSU
do some of the same things. Yeah,
I've seen them be nasty. I've seen those young linemen, those young offensive linemen at LSU get excited. We're about to kick your ass.
You're right.
All right, this is a counter run, and this is Kenny McIntosh, number 6. And if you just look at the patience to let all this develop. I think that's what I see from number 6 is patience, and then he's able he's able to burst out of these things. But the patience that got him out of this, and again, this is a play that everybody's running. You're blocking down, and you're pulling the guard, and he kicks the first, and then this tight end's coming around. He picks up the second, and he's following that second puller. And until that second puller makes a decision, right here, see this guy's pulling here. He's going to block 23. But if he loops and logs 23, he takes it outside. But he's going to come in here, and he's going to kick 23 out, and he cuts it up. So that allows that patience to come, to work. And that's what, I bring Le'Veon Bell up a lot in here, but that's what made him great at Pittsburgh was they ran those counter plays. And again, you can see right here.
Oh my God.
So he's pulling around for the first guy.
77, bro.
He's coming in here, and then 6 is going to stay in here and allow this to. And again, that's a big hole. And then you've got 8 making a good block here. So there's a lot of good things that they were doing. That's very sound, and I think that's the biggest thing about Georgia. They're sound. They don't do anything that's out of the ordinary. They're just really good at it. I thought this was just a strong run, man. This was just one of those runs you look at and you go, all right, we got to get the first down, or we don't have to get the first down, but when you get to a certain point, when you get about 8 yards down the field, when you get to about this point, you're like, okay, you kind of have a feel where you're going. Let's go ahead and convert. That way we can get first down again, because running backs believe the more first downs you have, the more runs you're going to get.
The more you're going to run the ball.
The more you're going to run the ball. So they're not dumb when it comes to that. Now this is my last clip of their offense, but this is something that you got to be aware of when you play Georgia. Is he's going to run a seam route, which is going to be right outside the hash here, in between the hash and the numbers. This is like Kansas City runs a ton of this stuff in with the Chiefs, but all this is just a vertical route,
just out the backfield,
and it's just out the backfield. And again, you get your ball in your running back's hand down the field, and I just thought that was it's a simple route, but he's coming from it's a route that you're used to this guy running. You're not used to this guy running it. So this guy's just literally just running a straight up go route down the seam, and
that's credit to the offensive line, because that takes time to develop.
It does. That takes a lot of time to develop, and a lot of times you're trying to get that ball out a little quicker than he got that ball out. So that's their offense, and I think Stetson Bennett's doing a good job and everything. Now, going to their defense, I think of the defense as being they're not. I don't think of this team as being exotic. I think of this team as just being tough, physical. Just
they're so vanilla because they're so talented.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, keep your eye on this guy. This is Christopher Smith. He's number 29. This is the first game of the year.
Isn't he a freshman?
But I want you to watch where this guy comes from. I want you to watch the play this guy makes in space. Boom. That's what I think of when I think of Georgia defense is speed, physicality, good fundamentals, making plays.
You know what they call that? Running the alley, coach.
Yep, no doubt.
Get that power alley, get in there.
So we showed y'all that catch by Moose Muhammad earlier, but we want you to watch this interception. It's this guy here, 24. He's going to fall off. He's playing a version of cover 2. Oof. Does anybody catch this ball? If you're going on Caesar Sportsbook right now and you're saying, okay, I'm giving this 100 to 1 odds that somebody catches it. That kid yanked that out of the sky, and again, these first game of the year. But again, Oregon been ranked all year, right?
Yeah, they got Bo Nix is up for a
Oregon
Heisman.
just lost their first game since Georgia like last week.
But if you look, this is the same route that I showed you with Moose Muhammad earlier, that inside go route, and
that's just making a play.
That's making a big time play. Now, they will blitz off the edge, and this is something here. If you see here, this guy's blitzing off the edge, so you just got to be ready for this. And if you're gonna cut as a back on a drop back pass, you see that guy, you think you got him down, right?
Nah, he caught himself.
But I want you to see how he's got his hands on the ground right there. He's doing like a push up right there. He's doing one of those where you put your feet on the wall and you do push ups.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing right there.
A little burpee.
And watch, he does a little roll up, get up, sack. So
see, that's the difference between Georgia and everybody else. Like they have all these dudes, but they just play so hard. Like you see guys get cut and they'll just stay on the ground.
Yeah, and that to me is a mark of that to me is the mark of a really good player or a really well coached team to say just because you got cut doesn't mean the play's over.
Right.
And if I'm that running back coach for that running back,
go snutty him.
Well, no, I'm gonna say this is a drop back. This is a drop back pass. Unless that's a defensive lineman.
Yeah, you got to square that up.
Just square him up. Take him on. Be a speed bump. Right there, you're not a speed. 20. Look, 20's like, oh, man. Sorry, Hendon.
I thought I did a good job.
Film's gonna
Sorry, buddy.
tomorrow.
Look, he's looking at the sideline. Like, where's my coach at?
Yeah,
Where's
Coach?
Here's another look at some edge pressure coming out. Again, you've got these two guys coming off the edge. Here's the thing. You've got two extra blockers in the backfield here. And just runs right past both of them. I don't understand this. I know the offensive coordinator is a friend of mine at Tennessee, and I guarantee you he ain't putting up with this. Like, this is not his style. So, but again, that's 88. I don't know if that's a receiver or a tight end, but he's probably not used to
Princeton Fant.
He's probably not used to doing backfield blocking. But again, you just got to be aware they will when they do blitz. These edge blitzes are big. It's kind of like that Alabama feel to it, obviously. So now this is a read zone touchdown. Again, this is ETN right here, Trevor Etienne, because I had Travis. See, I called Travis when I was in Jacksonville. We called him TJ, so I never called him Travis. So, but you can see this is the same type of play that LSU likes to run, and they're just blocking inside zone. Well, I want you to watch these two guys here. They're so worried about the quarterback pulling it right here. And again, you saw that happen
to A&M.
And you saw that's happened to – and this is, again, this tight end's coming across, so it brings guys' eyes across. You hand it off, and these guys just run themselves out of the play because they're so worried about Anthony Richardson. And
is this the most you've seen across college football where the tight end is utilized in so much so much blocking? Like the motion and going across the formation, it feels like
I feel like it's
a new flavor.
It is. I think it is a new flavor. It's been happening, but I think you're hitting it on the head. Every year there's something new. On defense, there's a AA package. Then it's this look right here. If you look at this is what we would call bear front. So you got a zero, you got 2 3s, and you basically got every gap covered right there. And you've got some guys who can run in the back, behind it. So really you're trying to stop the run here.
The old Buddy Ryan.
And so right there. So if you look. You got hat on a hat right across the board. You really don't have anybody getting up to those two. And the fact that they both fell out of there. I mean, again, you give that to, I think, any back in the SEC and they score. So that's what I got for Georgia. You can kick me off for a second. I think Georgia's going to be one of those teams this week that when's the last close game they had? Have they had a close game?
They have been looking.
Missouri was close.
Yeah, they've been looking more and more vulnerable. That's what the narrative is going into the SEC championship.
But you got to remember, this is a home game for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
look. Last time I went to Georgia for the SEC championship, it turned into an LSU.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, it's still. They don't have to travel. Put it that way.
That was Stetson Bennett's beginnings right there.
Was it?
Yeah, Georgia.
Huh.
Kentucky 16-6.
Didn't he start the 2020 season?
I feel like that guy's been starting for a while.
Forever.
Because Jake Fromm did start, got hurt, and when he got hurt, they brought Stetson Bennett in the game, and everybody was like, "Who the fuck is this?
Who's the coach's son?"
I thought they would get like somebody out the stands, coach. Like he looked like a kid.
And then now he grew up.
Now he's a player.
Yeah.
He played.
But that's one attempted throw. So see, Stewie was right. He played.
He played.
Got him in.
He came in there. He was like, "Who's that?"
Well,
Could get hurt.
My final thoughts on LSU going into playing Georgia is they got to put that game behind them from Saturday night. It's over. The playoff hopes probably over, but you got to think though, if they go win the SEC, and Brian Kelly's first year, they're already there, which is already something that
counts for something.
It counts for something, so that's good. I could tell you as an Aggie that I would love to have A&M there, and
right.
They're not, and so they're there. They have a chance still to do it. They have a chance to bring the ring back. They can bring a ring back with them.
I would imagine if you're a coach, look, we still have goals this year. This is one of them that's still in front of us. Like this is a model. This would be a market for a successful year.
We tell you they say every time they say, okay, national championship. Yeah, it get kind of mentioned if you're in that atmosphere. But every SEC team comes in saying we're going to Atlanta. We got to get to Atlanta and let's go to Atlanta and win. Well, they got to Atlanta. Now go to Atlanta and win. And then you know what? If they end up playing in, the Orange Bowl or the Cotton Bowl
Sugar
or something,
Bowl.
whatever it is, they go to a New Year's Day bowl
They're
and
giving Bama and Tennessee those 2 bowls.
well, have a little get a
Go to
LSU
the Citrus Bowl.
get a
then.
LSU
Shit.
Tennessee get a LSU Tennessee rematch.
That would be great.
See what happens. But there's no Hendon Hooker though.
Yeah, no, there might not be a Jaden Daniels.
It might not be. So I'll just say this. I've had computer issues, and this is probably the best thing that's ever happened to you. I only have LSU's defense, my A&M offense stuff, except for the teaser stuff I did earlier, which I could easily go back and rehash. But on the defensive side, I do have some defensive plays for LSU's defense, and I know that was probably the area of most concern from the other day. So moving forward into that, Stu, if you'll kick me up there real quick. So I got my computer that I usually do all my work on. It just took a major dump on me last week. So
How old are your kids?
Yeah, how old are my kids?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 5, 3, and 1. Who knows what happened to it? So I want to talk about, again, we mentioned this play a little bit ago, but talking about Perkins and where was he at? He was still there, but again, I think A&M did a good job of scheming him to the backside of plays and things. So there was times where they went into a slot formation and he was on the field, but he had to walk, where he was lined up, he had to walk out to the slot initially. And then it looked like later in the game, even when they were in base defense and he had to walk out to the slot, they said, no, screw that. And they brought him back down and kind of rolled the coverage early just to get him into position and let him play. He was there. Trust me when I tell you this. A&M fans knew where he was. The people around me, I never met him. They kept talking about, man, and 40, look at 40. They were talking about him. So I'm just telling you, the kid's got some hype around him. I think everybody at A&M knows him too, because didn't he burn a hat or something?
He was committed to A&M.
Yeah, but then he burned the hat or something like that.
I don't know.
So, but again, we saw that's an amazing job by Perkins to, again, be in this position right here, where he's got his hand on the ground and gets up and goes. So there's a lot of good things to look at with this kid. He just didn't take the game over like everybody said. Man, we got to have Perkins take the game over, and he just didn't do it. And again, this to me makes zero sense. So you got a receiver down here, so you can't really see. But Perkins is kind of in that walked out thing. You can see he's going to walk back up, and he's playing that backside. You can call that the will linebacker. But again, I believe they're bringing like a saw pressure. Here's the end of the game, and they said A&M just said, you know what, screw this. We're not going to block 40. And I think this was his one tackle on the day, which it's unfortunate that he didn't have the stats that maybe he wanted. But
he impacted the game.
He still impacted the game. He still caused issues with A&M to have to. There's games where Aaron Donald doesn't have a whole lot of stats, but I can tell you all this: Aaron Donald can wreck a game and have no stats. And I think that's what you just got to remember that. So even though he may not have had the stats and things like that, that's why I have a hard time just saying, let's look at the stat book, let's look at the post game stats, because that may not tell the story. A receiver may not have any receptions, but he was double teamed the whole game.
Changes, they game planned for you,
and somebody else had a ton of
and that's what I think when you look at what Georgia is trying to do, or if Georgia is watching what A&M did, wouldn't you think that this is kind of their game plan a way to limit what 40 can do as opposed to let him wreck a game.
Yeah, and I think as an offense, you're trying to you always red dot a guy, and you said this guy right here, this guy does not break us, this guy does not beat us, and you try to find a way. You always do that. So right here, we talk about putting a kid with a red dot right here. This kid A-Chain, the running back, had a heck of a day. Now what they're doing is they're going to actually be pulling both of these guys. They're running that counter play, but they're running it for the quarterback. And what they're doing is they're reading this backside guy, and he's running a sweep. The back's going to run a sweep here, but the quarterback's going to ride it, and then he's going to come here with these two guys pulling. And what you're doing is if this guy plays down at all, you just hand it to him, let him take the edge, and all these guys are blocking for him to come around the edge, and that's what they did here. And it's not that LSU didn't do anything good. He's flat-footed, and they said, we've got a world-class sprinter right here, so
I'm going to beat him to the edge.
They gave it to him, beats him to the edge, and, again, it gets to the point where I don't blame him for the way he's trying to go, get him down right here. You got to do everything you can, and, yeah, he still made some plays, but, he got him down. You go down, you limit it. So right here, you got guys chasing, they're doing everything they can, but you got to remember where 23 came from. 23 is a box player right here who's actually playing run, and he sees two guys pull, so – it's his job still to play the box and play the run. You see how he bounced one step.
One bounce.
It was one bounce. And it was just enough to get him around. And, LSU has a lot of speed. Don't get me wrong, but 6 is a different version of speed.
Yep.
And you can see here, again, just that little bit of hesitation that gave him a hand up. Really, they're only blocking him if he pulls the ball and he runs over the top. So – you can see,
sliced it, they'd have been fine.
Again, you can see that. It was well schemed up, and it just happened to be that A&M was making plays the other night, and it's hard. Again, it's hard as an A&M fan to say, man, what happened? But now these are some of those runs you look at and you go, okay, it's blocked up. That's great, but you think you just ride the wave down in here, and what he does, he comes so far up in there that your safety just jumped up in there thinking, right there. I think if you're him, he's disappeared.
Right.
And he just
outside.
But the way, and this is where anybody that has any aspirations of playing running back,
push it up into the hole.
Press as far as you can. Press it past, he's past the feet of his lineman. If you can press it in there, and then make your cut, because it causes that. And I think if the more running backs can understand that, and again, that's there's some tackling there. There's a good finish to the play right there.
Yeah.
It just happens to be 6. You can see he's eye to eye with him right there. So he stepped up. He's like, okay, I'm making a play. Cool. Oh, 6 makes a good play. Now that's a great tackle by 5.
Mm-hmm.
Great tackle by 5.
But if you're at him, you're 15 yards, 10 yards down the field.
And you take that.
Yeah.
So, again, this was another cutback run, and I think there were some missed tackles on here. So you talk about, I'm sorry, this wasn't a cutback. There was just a tackling on this one. This is what I have this one on here for.
And look at, 40 gets swallowed up. You can see he's top of mind for A&M.
But yeah, see, he steps in, but he's also got guys outside. So that's why he can do that right here, because you got guys that are playing. So you got two guys right here. This is that vice drill. So again, he makes his cut way here, but he runs around him. So there's a lot of tackling issues right there. I think that people are going to say that's not normal, and I can guarantee you. I don't know Matt House. I've never met him, but from what I can tell, every time you see something bad happen, and again, there's 40 right there. Watch where he comes from. Watch where he comes from. See, he's right here, and he comes back down the field, and yeah, that's him right there. But
he's still impacting the play.
He still basically made the play, and you talk about. He's off the screen right now. Mm-hmm. So, but again, I think the thing I was saying is anytime I see something bad on LSU's defense, the next game,
it gets corrected.
You don't see it.
Yeah.
And
especially with the tackling, it's not the first time it's happened all year, but usually the next game it's pretty much cleaned up.
No doubt. And again, here this is what I was talking about, where they had Perkins walked out and then they walked him down, and blitz him off the edge. Now he jumps inside right here, which at this point right now, I'm not sure as an edge blitzer, I don't think he's supposed to be jumping inside again like this, but
he has a tendency to do it.
I don't know their scheme, but if you watch the tight end that's coming out here to block him, I mean, he's like, sure, I'll take you in there.
Right.
And then again, that we talked about this with the hip turn. When you've got your hips pointed this way, he's going to run here and he's going to be able to get that cut right there. And that's something, again, you talk about tackling and things. I think A-Chain at this point, I don't remember what the score was. I was sitting somewhere up in that second deck, right up about there. So I had pretty
right
good
next to the. You on the screen a lot?
No, it was not above the. I actually was very cognizant of that because I know where they shoot straight across. They actually shoot the student side scoreboard. But you can see right here that's A-Chain was just on one.
Yeah.
A-Chain was on one. Now this play right here, this is a really, really good schemed up play, and this again goes to so they're running a counter again. I talked about it a minute ago. So 64 is going to hit here, 18 is going to run around here and take the next guy that comes over. This extra back that they got in the backfield is running out here, and he's blocking. We call it a bark. It was like a bluff arc, and he's kind of bluffing here at this guy, and he's going to arc around and go block. So you get a kick out here, you get a turn up here, and you actually get a guy blocking here. So you actually have this whole thing blocked up because he's going to come block here. He's blocking here, and he's just following it all around. And it was a well blocked, well executed play. And then since he's inside, you can see he turns up and I believe goes right there. So it's a well executed play by A&M. Now again, here's where teams have got to, as you look at this again, it's not that you're playing bad defense. You've got a ton of defenders over here. It's just they had it schemed up to where they got this guy to block somewhere over here. You know what I mean? So you're getting 2 extra blockers from the backside and a front side blocker. So it allows you right there. You just gained your gap integrity on defense gets hard. It's hard to because really, you got a guy falling over the top here that, keeps him from cutting it back. But because you've got this guy out here blocking, it causes him to do that. So again, was it out schemed? I don't know. Sometimes it's all about execution, and
they're executed.
And then they executed. So,
but this has to be the best the A&M offense has looked all year.
Yeah,
it's
easily.
the most points they scored all year.
No, but I'm talking about even from a coach's perspective, like what they dialed up is. I'm sure you were watching, going, where the hell has this been?
All this stuff. So somebody said, the antiquated offense and all this kind of stuff. I thought they looked pretty modern to me. I thought they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
He was going old school I formation though.
You know what though? You can't listen. You can't take it out of some
football.
People.
Is still football.
So right here, this is Amari Daniels. It's a 23-yard run, but it's just a good job. He just stays on track. He's going to do this, and then he's going to do this. And if you watch what he does, see how he just stays on track. But see, the problem is that's his guy. So he had to stay there back just enough.
Like trying to say, if you run it back real quick, he does the same thing where it just gets his eyes for 1 second where he has to hang outside.
But he's the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, So the point is, I want you to watch him. He runs it up, and he's as tight as he can get. And as a running back coach, that's good stuff right there. So like when you get back on track. So the play was going over here initially. So where are these guys blocking? They're blocking it for the, that looks like bad. Well, that's true. Apologize for that. So you're blocking it to go over here. So when he comes back, he's got to get back on a track here. Mm-hmm. And you can see he does that. And again, execution. I don't think necessarily this was something that LSU is going to sit there and go, oh man, we had missed assignments all over the place. I'm sure there were somewhere, but point being, I just thought the execution was pretty good. The screen to the tight end. So I want you to watch. Ojulari's going to be rushing. Well, one of the things when you run a tight end screen, you want to sell like you're in pass protection. If a tight end's blocking pass protection, these ends and D linemen usually say, "I'm rushing this pass." So you bait them into that. But then once they realize that people are leaving,
it's too late.
You better retrace and come back. Kind of like you saw Perkins do when he retraced. It's like, oh crap, I went past the quarterback, so I got to retrace. Well, what's going to happen here? You'll see this is a tight end screen. So see how 18's kind of hanging. This guy's blocking down, so he's thinking right now, okay, well it's pass, so I'm gonna rush, But once he realizes these guys aren't, you know what, he's not blocking me anymore, and these guys are gone, and you got to be able to feel that. And I know he does, but
Look at 92.
It's just a little bit too late of retrace. But these guys are retracing, and it just allowed that to happen. And it wasn't a great play, but yeah, if you watch right here, watch see how 92's like, nobody's blocking me.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't right.
That's when the alarm starts to go off.
And it's a retrace. They do retrace. I can tell you, these linemen do retrace drills every day. Line coach, it's funny. D-line coaches are, and then watch this. I heard some people saying they were trying to get him for that. I'm like,
yeah, come on, coach.
It's
just football.
Like, dude, I'll say this though, this stuff that's over here on the this it's like nylon stuff that they do to cover these grass fields. That stuff, when you have cleats on, is slippery. I'm talking about like ice. So if you ever see these guys like fall, like they're like, see how he slides?
Shit,
Did you see him slide?
That's dangerous.
It's real dangerous. I don't know why.
That's why LSU put like turf on their side.
Yeah,
that was smart by them, because like that to me, like NFL teams are the same way. All these grass fields have it. It's dangerous, man.
Well, you saw what happened to when Reggie Bush was in Detroit. Yeah. He slipped on the track and tore his ACL, and he sued him.
That track is, I can tell you from personal experience, that track is not there anymore.
Yeah, guy had to get rid of it. But it's the same situation where your cleats that are made for grass.
Yeah. So this is the play here where Donovan Green, number 18, he's going to end up catching the touchdown over here. But watch what happens. This was a well executed play, and really you can say this is on Baskerville. What's going to happen is that he's going to sell blocking. He's going to sell that he's blocking, and then when he feels like he's blocking, this is a man coverage, he's going to add on, and you can see I got different. But just keep an eye on him right there, because he gets lost. So he runs across. See, he's blocking. He's still there. He's still blocking. Here go Micah Baskerville just added on.
Green dog.
And you get it just enough to get him open. So if you watch this from this other angle, you can see it's a great angle. So he sees him blocking, so he adds on, and this back knows that. And what they're telling the quarterback is, listen, you've got probably one guy from somewhere, either this guy or this guy, whoever the back doesn't take, because really the back could have probably blocked him as well. But whoever the back doesn't take, you got him. Now, Ojulari does a hell of a job of getting around this, but it's just enough that where the tight end, it's kind of, a tight end sneak play, but that's how they got that open. So that was just execution of knowing it was man, and the tight end. If the tight end would have left just a count earlier, Baskerville would have covered him.
Right.
And it would have been dead play. He would probably have thrown the ball away.
Is it Wegman? Is that how you say his last name?
Wegman,
that shows the talent, like the arm talent you have to be able to make this throw off your back foot, backpedaling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at him. He's got.
I think this is a 35-yard throw now.
I believe he got called for roughing the passer here too.
Good.
But no, I'm saying he's got his hands in his face. I believe he did get called for it, and that might be like if you watch Wegman's head right here.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he gets a pretty good one to the face right there. But I mean, I can. At that point, I think this was towards the end of the game, but I got a few more. Now these are all going to be Moose Muhammad, and again, he's right here. So this is just an RPO, and I guess this one wasn't the RPO. So more of a quick pass. But if you watch, I want you to watch that right there. See, that's Ojulari, and he didn't go try to cut him. Remember that guy in Georgia? He tried to cut him, and he got back up. You don't want to cut B.J. Ojulari, especially as a running back. You don't want to cut him because he's going to get back up.
Right.
He has that talent. But again, you're selling like a run look right there, and just a little pop pass. And, again, Moose Muhammad,
special.
He is. And I don't even know. Is he coming? Is he coming back?
I don't know what year he is.
I don't know what year he is either. All right, so this was the touchdown. Again, this is the one-handed touchdown, but this is the inside go, and you can kind of see they're trying to do that to hold them. But, again, this is just – you couldn't have told me to have better coverage by LSU right here. And you've got an extra guy over here trying to help, right here. But I don't know how you tell anybody when you're talking to him other than, I don't know, get your hand a little higher, grow a couple inches. I don't know what you tell him. You might tell this guy, hey, don't be careful, don't overrun it. Go put your shoulder on the ball or whatever. But seeing this from some of these other angles, it's just I don't think you could have. Sorry, I had to throw some celebration. We don't get to celebrate much at A&M right now.
LSU did it first.
But there's the ball. You tell him, look, his hand is higher than his hand. That guy has perfect coverage on this. I can't tell. I don't know how else to tell you to play that. So again, people want to say, "Oh man, that's
perfect ball."
I can't believe you played man coverage on that." But perfect ball, unbelievable catch. And look, he's trying to
pick it.
He's trying to catch the ball. He's trying to catch the ball right there. He's like, I got to pick.
I think he's making play. Muhammad's a sophomore, by the way.
Oh, he's like a true sophomore?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
But he's going to hit the portal.
But, I mean, that, I think people that remember his dad, being a possession receiver too, he's a good, I mean.
Oh, no, he redshirted. So he's going to the league.
He probably is. I would think after this game,
mm-hmm.
there's a good chance of that. And then again, this is the same route. All right. So what you're going to see is that route right there. It's out in the field now, and it's this little inside go. But again, if you watch this play, how do you get? I mean, you probably could have called interference because you're kind of coming back for it, but that's pretty tight coverage. That's pretty tight.
Both of their hands.
That's pretty tight coverage. I feel bad for my man right here because he got burnt twice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there you go. Give him a little dookie there at the end.
But, yeah, that's when people are going to point at this game, they're going to see a lot of Sage Ryan highlights like that. But what more do you want from him other than to just finish the play, I guess? Like, you're in a good spot.
Look, there's Moose Muhammad's other arm right there. The ball's in his hand, and it's really in Sage Ryan's hands. And somehow or another, he pulls that out of there.
Just takes it from him.
And that to me, if you want to know why A&M won that game the way they won it, I really think that it came down to, because that ball's not really caught by anybody right there.
Yep, 50-50.
And it just happened. I mean, the bounce, the bounce of the ball. And again, I know there's a lot of LSU fans watching this. They're probably kicked off by now. What are we down to, about two people watching?
200.
So point being is this: if you're an LSU fan, the bounces went A&M's way. The catch, like those two catches, went A&M's way. I don't have that. I don't have the like I told you, my thing messed up on the other one. I apologize for that. But sorry, Citizens Bank and Trust. This was not your fault with the Telestrator. This was straight up my fault. Citizens great to us. But A&M made more plays. One thing I do want to try to kick me off for just 2 seconds here, so for people that maybe are just now tuning in. I do want to kick back to LSU's offense for just a second, because I know there was some good stuff that I want to.
What do you have the Dre Jenkins pass interference on there?
I do not.
That was picked up?
No, I do not.
Did you have any thoughts on that play? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that one.
It was when.
It was like third down. Jaden throws the ball like across the middle. It's like stop routes.
Yeah.
Jaden throws the ball across the middle of the safety from
hits
over.
Yeah.
Dre Jenkins, and they picked it up because they said he was going for the ball.
Did he? The problem is if he contacted him in any form or fashion, going over the back like that.
He did.
That's what I'm saying. It should have been.
He completely it was pass interference.
I get them saying.
He put his hand out to like kind of say he was going for the ball.
I get you saying going for the ball, but if you're going for the ball, you both have to have a clear lane at the ball. Now, if you hit each other, but you've got a clear lane going at it, and you guys running each other, that's different.
That's different.
If you're going over a guy,
he goes over his back.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and find that one, but. I will say though, I don't have it on here, but the catch rule on I believe there's Dre Jenkins too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he gets his foot, he gets both feet down, I believe, or he got one foot down. He was inbounds. It was a catch inbounds. The problem is like, and this is where I had to go look it up. If you have already established yourself in the field and then you get in the end zone, it's over. It's done.
Over.
But if you're in the end zone. That's PI. That's PI. Yeah, I don't know why I remember that. Was that late in the game?
Mm-mm.
It was early in the game.
It was early in the game.
I might have been in the pisser at that point.
Anyway, we'll get back to what you're saying about end zones.
So if you're in the end zone and you're making the catch in the end zone, you do have to finish the catch if you're in the end zone. And the problem is yes, he was down. He had possession in the end zone, but the problem was he wasn't established as a he didn't get that third move in the end zone. The third move was actually out of the end zone, and that's the reason it didn't get
ruled a touchdown.
It didn't get ruled a touchdown. Had he literally fallen down with it in his hands and rolled over and then dropped it, he dropped it as he was going down. And if he would have dropped it as he was after his like butt hit the ground or something like that, then they would have said, okay, that was that third move. He's down. Everything's good. But I think that's where it came from. Again, that to me, if that would have been called a touchdown in the field, I don't think they would have turned it over. I don't think they would overturn that. They would have said, stands, touchdown. And I think that play and then again that fumble return for a touchdown, which we'll get into right now, it kicked me back on. So I got 3 plays here. We looked at these earlier, but I'll go through them again for the late crowd here. Apologize for not having the full thing here. You can blame
the kids.
You can blame Microsoft for that. So we're looking here. This is, again, there's a guy down here at the bottom. So this is that unbalanced look where you've got 4-by-1, but there's no receivers on this side of the ball. A&M again has like guys in coverage over here, so I'm not real sure. They must know that, again, they're going to run, a read zone and hand it off, but they must know right now, okay, out of this look, they have tendencies or something. That's the only reason, because UAB did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a reason. There's got to be tendencies. Like, if you go pull the whole season up, which they probably do for this formation to see what goes on out of it. But again, right here, whatever tendencies they had, good for them. So Jaden Daniels right here. See, Jack Besh is going here. Here comes Mason Taylor back over here. He can actually pull and run, but they hand it off. But I want you to watch everybody, basically the entire team decides they're going to go after Jaden Daniels right here in the tight end and Besh. So right there, it just shows you the amount of attention and respect that Jaden Daniels is getting on his running ability. And I was great to see Emery, man. John Emery is one of my favorite people, and they killed me last week to see what happened against UAB. But he came back, he bounced back.
You called it.
And if anybody out there is watching this and going, man, John Emery is a very strong-willed and strong-minded person. He doesn't let that stuff happen to him, and people get away with it. But if you watch all these dudes do that, good job just getting in the way. Sometimes you don't have to have a great block right there, but you got enough. And it was great to see John Emery, man. I pull for the guy. So right here we're talking about.
And when you talk about when you see that kind of respect thing that you talk about with Jaden Daniels, you just saw Georgia overcommit against Florida. Like it can happen because their running ability is very, or at least the respect the defense gives their ability to run is very similar.
Yeah, and again, I want to make this point. I talked about Jaden Daniels over the past few weeks of like, man, Arkansas. he got guys open. He's got guys open. But there wasn't a whole lot of guys open in this game, to be honest with you. And credit to A&M for covering, but also, just whatever happened, there wasn't a whole lot of open receivers. But Jaden Daniels is still, if you look at it, he's still looking downfield. This guy should be a tackle all day. The guy is draped on him. You know what I mean? The guy's got him in a bear hug from behind right there, and he gets out of it and is still able to run down there. And one of the things I had on my extended cut of the offense, which I don't have, Jaden Daniels had on my list here, you had the big scramble after. You had a scramble where he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Big scramble after his injury. He breaks out of this one, and he had another scramble. He had a touchdown kind of open on one of them, but he had another scramble that was a big scramble that he just decided, hey, listen, my read took me out of it. He had an open guy down bottom, on his right, but his whole read was on the left, and he just decided to run it. Still got 15 yards, and I'm like, so my point is, I think he did a good job of trying to play quarterback before he scrambled, but. Right here, the fact that he actually broke this, and then again, they got a spy guy. They got a spy. But I like this. I think John Emery thought that was his guy, but John Emery blocks the spy.
And sets this whole thing up.
And sets the whole thing. It almost looks like a lead draw.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
Mm-mm.
It's not a lead draw. And, that's a heck of a job by Jaden Daniels of taking it all the way down there. And I think that was actually after he got hurt. That play was after he hurt his ankle. So...
And then they spatted him up after.
They spatted him up like 2 series later, but that was after he hurt his ankle, that was a brutal look. But hopefully he's all right. And then we're talking about this fumble, scoop, and score thing. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but you see all the guys they've got committed to playing Jaden Daniels right here. And again, should he have handed it off? There's numbers over here that say yes. He didn't. Okay, you don't want to take the creativity and your player away from the quarterback.
Agreed.
And let him play. Okay, he made a decision, and this is what you always tell people: if you make a decision, live with it. Let's go. Okay. Now he's got the ball right here, but you see you'll see it from a different angle. But there's air behind that ball right there, behind his elbow, and this guy just gets his fist right on. It's like the perfect storm,
peanut punch
of that, and it just comes out. And then again, the same guy right here that returned it against Arkansas for that win, he gets it there.
He's
so
real
apparently
comfortable with the ball in his hand.
Apparently, A&M needs to just scoop and score all the time and they'll win games. But yeah, I was up in the second deck right above there somewhere. But if you look,
he's running right towards you.
Hold on, I'm trying. It's hard to see right there, but there's since y'all like to talk about stuff all the time, the cannon is right there. That's that cannon that got shot.
Fire it.
And it was funny when it came out, when pregame came out and they shot it off, the LSU players were no closer than here. They did
saw
not.
The tape.
Oh, it's like there's nobody right there, and they had to have like said, "Hey,
look, they're going to shoot that cannon at you."
Or honestly, there's a bunch of the core guys that are down there that shoot it off, and they probably got in trouble for shooting it off with two dudes sitting on that pylon right there.
Imagine somebody said something.
I mean, as bad as that was. So point being, I mean, it's a little, but you can see, I believe this is the angle right here. Yeah. So it's that. It's just that slight bit right there, and it's not. It doesn't take much, It doesn't take much to have that air right there, and you can see. I mean, Jaden Daniels trying to do a stiff arm here, which I think is
fine.
It's fine until you hurt your throwing hand.
Oh yeah, also.
You know what I mean. So I've always been a little scared of. I wouldn't say scared. I've been reluctant to ever tell the quarterback to do a stiff arm. But again, you can kick me off because I know you don't want to look at that there, Stewie. I appreciate
the pain in his eyes.
I do appreciate y'all sitting through this with me today. But offensively, I do. Okay, offensively, I do want to bring up some stuff just from my notes here that I thought need to be kind of talked about. I thought Noah Cain played well for what he did. He did fumble that one ball at the end, but LSU recovered it. I thought Emory played well. They had a lead G with Jaden Daniels running, and they pulled the front side guard, and then they also led with, I believe, the running back. And they ran around the left side, and Jaden Daniels only got like 8 or 9 yards, but it was a very, very well designed play. It was kind of like that one I showed y'all with A&M where they had everybody. They pulled the guard. I mean, it was almost like that. So they had some good stuff. He had some good scramble completions. There was that drop. That's another play too, and I'm not trying to beat up on Lacey, but that was another play that he had 2 drop. Yeah, but I know the one he had on third down, going down towards the left, going right to left as you look at it in the red zone. They convert on that play. Again, that could change the game. So
absolutely.
What's that?
Both drops.
They were on third down.
Yeah.
So, but that one stuck out. I actually had, but point being is that there's little things that you haven't seen from LSU over the past 7 weeks or whatever it's been. And then the last couple things, they were spying Jaden Daniels. It was funny because but you didn't realize how they were doing it. They were taking a 4-down line and they were spying the backside defensive end and dropping him back. And they were doing it out of a different version of what like LSU does it. And they were spying him all game. The 2-point play where Jaden Daniels got hurt again, there towards the end, they had him locked down and he tried to make a play.
What is your philosophy on going for 2 there?
They were down 21, right? And that would have made it 14.
Right. And so he was saying if we don't get it, we can still go for 2 again.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think at that point you take the points, but that's my philosophy. Again, I agree with analytics in certain points. Like yesterday, the Chargers went for 2 at the end to win. If you don't get it, it's like Alabama game. You don't get it, you got
to live with it.
Well, people are going to be at your house with signs in your yard and stuff. But if you get it, all of a sudden you're a hero,
right?
And I think like Staley went for it yesterday and beat Arizona on a 2-point conversion there at the end. And he made the point of I came here to win.
Okay,
good. I'm good with that. But at the same time, like if you don't get it again at that point, you're down. You're down 21 when you scored it. I don't get it. But again, I think at that point you're trying to.
Each coach has their own.
but you're also trying to get some juice for your guys. The juice. When I'm telling you the juice was all on A&M side in that stadium the other night, and if they play that game in LSU at LSU the other night instead of A&M, it's probably the other way around.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that place was different, and he had to do something to get the juice back to them, and I think that's why he was doing it.
And kind of silence the crowd a little bit, if anything, to be able to, all right, we're
Yeah.
back. Here comes LSU. They're making a run.
No doubt. But well, we gotta close this out. But I appreciate you guys sitting through the A&M stuff. But the Georgia game, let's do this next week, all right? And let's have an SEC championship celebration.
There we go, Coach. I appreciate it.
I'm on y'all's side.
Yeah,
I'll
your season's
help you guys
over.
out. So I'll still be around. I got other stuff I can come in here. I'll start coming in here talking about.
No, I'm saying for A&M. So
yes.
You're more than welcome to hop on the LSU bandwagon with us. I feel like you've become a little. Obviously, you coached for LSU, but I feel like it's just been good for you.
I'm trying to be as unbiased as I can from any. This was about the most biased you'll ever see me. But I feel like I wasn't as. I tried, y'all. I tried. Okay.
It could have been worse.
But I did have a good time this weekend. It was good for my soul. It was good for my kids. We got to see friends that we haven't seen in years. So
congratulations.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all. We will see y'all next week on Caskey's Clicker. Appreciate you guys being in here with me today.
Watch out for outside, Coach.